we might as well rock and roll.
Yes, guys. Welcome. How is everyone?
Good, man. Good.
Big up to the chat, guys. This is our Liverpool season review. It should be an interesting one. With it, I've brought in the A team. I've got K-Mac, Fozzie, Ben, Enz, G, and Jerry. James, how you doing, guys?
Oh, good.
Happy.
Good, bro. Bro, why you happy? Bro, you ain't been happy all season, bro.
No, the season's done. That's why I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy. We can relax.
Happy. K-Mac, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. I'm great to be on. And good to see all the people in the house, especially Jerry. How you doing, man? And also
what's going on?
And Enz, man.
Okay, Matt.
I was about to say K-Mac, bro. That was rude, bro. Especially Jerry. What's going on there, bro?
Fozzie, how you doing, mate?
Oh, good, bro. Nice to meet you all the new people that I haven't met before. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, Jamie. I'm looking forward to this, bro.
Good. G, how you doing, mate?
Right, like I said, man, the season's done. I'm happy. Like, I don't know about anybody else, man. Summer's starting. Like, it's hot weather outside in London. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but it's good vibes, man. Good vibes. Hope everyone's good, though. Everyone's good.
Enz, how's you, man?
I'm alright, man. I'm just here, bro, for the vibes. You already know. I know what G and Jerry are gonna throw their propaganda. I know K-Mac is coming here with some iron stuff, and Fuzzy, man, he keeps everyone calm. I'm more interested to hear what Ben has to say, to be fair, because the first time me being on a show with him. So, yeah, man. Ben, I don't know what side of the table you're going to be on by the end of the show.
You'll find out, mate. You'll find
out about Ben. Ben's a great guy. Ben, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm glad it's over. I feel like I've just wasted about $1,000 this season going and seeing absolute dross, but I wouldn't change it for the world, mate. We go again next season, eh?
There we go. And Jerry, how you doing, my man? Been a while?
Good, man. I'm good. Just relaxed, man. Relaxed and chilling. I haven't thought about doing football. Heck, I've even forgot about doing streams. That's what it is, man. So
that's what it's
out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be on. Happy to big up to everyone, obviously, in the comments as well. Make sure we're smashing the like for Jamie, as always. So.
Big up. So let's start from the beginning, guys. Liverpool summer, guys. Where did it go wrong? Guys? I'll go to you first, Jerry. I will hear from you from this. Where did it go wrong, first of all, in the summer transfer season? What happened and where did it go wrong? Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. I thought you meant G.
Sorry.
Yeah. Where did it go wrong? It went wrong when, for me anyway, this is before the transfer window, when Klopp said, book our tickets to Istanbul, because that set a precedent for me of where our season was going to go. It was going to go one way or another, and I mean, you set your sights high, but that's a very bold way of thinking. And if you know that you're not going to be able to deliver on that promise, which a lot of us knew we wouldn't be able to in the position that we were in when we started the transfer window, without making any wholesale changes. Yeah, it set us up for a disaster, really. And the whole summer, loads of us are speaking about, we need a midfielder, we need a couple midfielders, we need a midfielder. Klopp coming back out, and out against the fans, saying, we don't need a midfielder, we don't need this. We've got Morton, we've got Curtis Jones, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, all these midfielders, and then obviously to turn around and waste the majority of the window, chasing a Tchouaméni who ended up going to Real Madrid. We then ended up getting a forward, which deviated from the original plan of getting a midfielder, because Liverpool weren't ever going to go and buy Tchouaméni and Núñez for that amount of money. And to end up with Arthur Melo being the only notable midfield signing, that just set us up for disaster. And we knew that, look, we needed reinforcements, and it didn't come. And for me, that just paints the picture of what the season was going to become. in the end, man.
I'll go to you, Ben. Summer starts. Mo Salah signs his new deal. Most Liverpool fans are ecstatic about that. Looking forward to a good summer transfer window after a brilliant season the season before. And then, what was your thoughts on the rest of the transfer window? Obviously, a Darwin Núñez come in and so. But do you think we missed out on quite a few names we should have got more in?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all knew we needed a midfielder. Like Jerry said, Tchouaméni was linked for a reason. You know, a big name at the time, and then obviously Jude. When Klopp signed his contract, in the same report from Paul Joyce, it said that Tchouaméni and Jude Bellingham were obviously the two that we wanted, and then obviously it became apparent that Tchouaméni wasn't possible because he was going to Madrid, and can't really blame him. European champions, and then Jude wasn't available, so they just decided, you know, let's just wait until next season. And I feel like wrongly, I'll just say that straight off the bat, wrongly, they thought we can squeeze one more year out of these guys. Yeah. Okay, if we don't win the league, we're still going to get top four. That's how they probably saw it. And from that moment on, it just went into an absolute disaster. And just skipping ahead a bit, obviously beating Man City in the Community Shield obviously gave us all false hope. I mean, I got very carried away after that. I don't know about anybody else. I was saying, Núñez is player of Haaland and all of this. Yeah, and I think that just gave us a false hope, because then obviously, again, skipping on a bit, we went 2 games into the Prem without a win. So, yeah, I think, like Jess said, it is just an absolute shambles. Looking back now, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. You know, if we did what we did in the summer and then came out and won a big trophy, you know, who knows what would happen now? Maybe they'd have gone again with the same players going into the next season. But I think all that's important now is that they learn from their mistakes. They get this McAllister deal wrapped up ASAP. Obviously, Thuram is another one that's come out today, which apparently sounds relatively promising. So yeah, they just got to learn the hard way, I guess.
Yeah, that's very true. G, now obviously Salah's #1 fan. So when Mo signed, obviously you would have been ecstatic as well. Did you feel like as soon as Mo signed his new deal, big money, saw the club actually putting 350 grand on a week on a player that we were told would never happen at our football club, was you then excited for the rest of the summer after that, and then feeling let down when it finished?
Yeah, literally that. I just thought that if we was going to put that money on Mo, I would have thought that they probably told Mo, like, listen, man, you know, because Mo wouldn't have really have signed a deal if he didn't think that we were going to kind of just kick on again. You know what I mean? We were a point off, you know, all the stuff that we did in that season. And I thought anyway, you know what, we're going to have a summer where I didn't ever think we was going to get too many. I don't know why. I just never ever thought that was a deal that we would do. But I didn't then think that we'd get nobody. Like, you know what I mean? And end up only with after Melo. And it was just underwhelming. Honestly, it was just underwhelming to see that, you know, we've gone from such highs. And I feel like that's the problem with Liverpool. There's too many highs and lows. I never feel like there's just a medium. We never just like, okay, this is all right, this is cool. It's either euphoric season, going for a quad, winning the Premier League, Champions League, or it's one of these seasons that obviously we've just had. But also the summers like that. It's never really, I can't remember the last summer where I looked at it and I thought, you know what? Forget the player, even if you like Núñez, don't like him, doesn't really matter. We're actually sorting out the areas of the team that we need to sort out. You know, and the fact that 95 to 99% of the fan base knew that we needed a midfielder and didn't even sign one. You just knew something was just not going to be right for the season. You didn't think it was going to be this bad. I'll tell a lie. I thought we'd finish at least second. I didn't think that we'd finish fifth. But, you know, underwhelming. Honestly, it was just underwhelming.
Yeah, Jay, your mic's moving a bit mad, man. It's all right. We heard you, everything you said. Just sounded a bit disorientated. That's all. Yeah. Fozzie, summer window. I'm going to ask a question right now. I'll start with Fozzie, and I want everyone to answer this. Well, Liverpool as the actual club, not the fans wanting it. Anyone outside, Twitter, all that. Take that out of consideration. Did Liverpool ever actually want Jude Bellingham, or was it always Tchouaméni?
I think it was a publicity stunt. That's what I think. Like Tchouaméni was their main target, and you know the news outlets, they always give you something to focus on, so we like focus away from reality. That's what they keep doing to us, especially FSG. Like I've always said, Tchouaméni. If the thing that angers me the most, Jamie, is like we was going for Tchouaméni, but if that transfer didn't come through, where was the backup? Because normally they have like a list of players that if that one doesn't work out, the next one, and that didn't even happen. I don't know how we go into a season like this and then go with the same midfield that we've been going with the last few seasons, especially injury-prone players as well, and expect us to finish in the top 4, top 2, whatever we was going for. But yeah, like I said about the Bellingham one, it looks like a publicity stunt, like just to make us lose focus of reality. But the Tchouaméni one was a real one. We did want to go for him. If Mbappe signed for Real Madrid, I think he would have come to Liverpool, because I don't think Real Madrid would have like signed 2 players with that much money. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I see it, mate. It's just a bad side. It's poor planning. Like Michael Edwards left, and then Julian Ward's come in. And what was the plan? That I thought he was like setting him up to, you know, get some players in and all that stuff, you know, and under the tutelage of Michael Edwards and all that stuff. But it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. We bought players that we didn't need as well. Like we're talking about the striker, Darwin Núñez. We needed midfielders, man. I mean, it's not even one midfielder. We needed 2 or 3, and then we get Arthur in. What was the point of Arthur? What is the actual point of having that player on the team who hasn't even kicked the ball? So basically, yeah, it's just poor planning, JB. That's what it is. And we suffered because of it. We was like majority of the season like 9th, 8th, and then we ended up in 5th because the players just woke up. We need to like you know, get ourselves up to gear so we could get back in the Champions League. But it was too late. It's just too late. Everything was too late, bro.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Mac, what do you recommend?
I mean, do you want me to answer the question about the summer, or do you want me to answer the question about the transfers?
Both. Go for it.
Okay, so for me, the biggest letdown was really the way last season ended, because that was how this season started. We were on the decline. Like, we were ran ragged. We were threadbare. Our players were just dead. Mane then handed in a transfer request, which blew everyone away. There was loads of and ahhing about Salah, which then brought up a bit of a feud between the fans, as in, why is Mane leaving? Is it because of Salah? And is Salah going, or is Mane going? And then that was a big conversation that was happening. The club was then up for sale. All of our dirty laundry was getting aired. And then Jurgen Klopp got the keys to the city and just decided to stop working. And then he gave Lingers the job in the pre-season, which ended up as a pile of shit because it injured all our players, and we started the season with no goalkeepers. I mean, it's literally a soap opera. And then it was the fact that, well, who were we going to sign? Well, we didn't have anyone that we were going to sign because we just decided that the club was up for sale and we weren't going to buy any players. I mean, it's just been an absolute mess from the start to finish. And we haven't even started the season yet.
No, we'll get to that in a minute. Ensman, what was your opinion, man?
What, on your question or the first?
Yeah. On both of them, you can go both.
Where it went wrong, bro. So many things, man. But I don't even look. We could all turn it around and say it's about we didn't sign the midfielders, but we couldn't count on all of these players. Your Virgil van Dijks, you know, your Robos, your Trents, your Fab, your Hendo, all of these guys, even Salah at point, you know, all not to be playing up to standards and high levels that we're used to. They all had a very below par season. Salah obviously does his number thing, so he looks good. He does, you know what I mean? But we watched all the games. Virgil was poor. Konate, you'd say probably half of the season wasn't great either. Trent wasn't great. Robbo wasn't great. Fab wasn't great. You know, most of these players were, he had Jota injured. Bobby was injured for majority. Diaz was injured for majority of the season. Then he had Darwin coming into a team where it was just deflated. No one really was in the team that could help him really settle in. So look, we can all blame it on the midfielders, but I think it's a lot more deeper than just saying because we didn't sign midfielders in the team. Because even if we sign midfielders, are you now telling me that these midfielders would make Virgil play better? It would have made Robbo play better, made Trent play better. So it's a lot deeper. I just think the players ran out of legs and steam, being at such a high level. And obviously it's partly the reason we didn't really revamp the team when we needed to and buy, the right players to fit the squad. But, I think it did a disservice to the new guys. And look, I know, obviously, as you were saying about, we shouldn't have bought Nunes, but if we had...
No, it's the player we didn't need, I said, at the time.
Okay, but,
midfielders should have been the first choice of anything.
But we did try and go and get midfielder. It's not like we didn't. So it's not like we went, no midfielder, we're just going to get... I think it was to get a striker and midfielders, and we just couldn't get midfielders done. So I didn't think we opted, in my opinion, for one or the other. I just feel we couldn't get the midfielder we wanted. So we opted to go and get the striker we wanted.
And just quick one on that one. Just quick one on that. Do you think Liverpool would have bought Tchouaméni and Nunes in one summer if they?
I reckon we would have, bro. Because I think with the team that we have, you see, because Klopp always says a thing: how do you improve a world-class team? The way you improve it is buying players that you believe can be world-class or have the ability to, mix it with the boys you currently have. So I think if we got Tchouaméni in, and everyone obviously stayed fit, he would have helped the midfield. That's 100%. And then obviously Nunes would have came into a team without it being depleted with all the injuries, and everyone playing at a good level, seeing a few decent faces around. Because at the start of the season, even though we didn't start off like winning all of our games, we weren't that bad. Apart from what you say, the Arsenal game, we probably should have won. We drew a few games, and then then we started having players get injured. Bobby started the season off good. Diaz started the season off good. Then they got injured. So it was kind of obviously Fab. We know what happened to Fab this season. So hopefully next season he can fix that. But as Jota then getting injured for a long period, Thiago. I know most people don't really rely on Thiago. I don't think he's that good as he used to be. But he's still a player that, if he's on form and he's fit, still helps us win games of football. So I think it was a lot of factors, man. So I'm not going to just say it's midfield. I'm going to say it's going to be.
We would have signed Nunes as well, Jerry. Klopp's been backed by FSG whenever he's wanted players. Like I can't be having this. Like Klopp doesn't get the money. Klopp doesn't ask for the bloody money. Like we only ever target like one player. Like, and if we don't get him, then he'll wait a year. And it's just nuts. It's just him.
Yeah, okay. It's just because he doesn't like. Obviously, he's not like a Pep Guardiola that loves to have like a massive squad of world class players. That's just
hasn't got a massive squad of world class.
I know, but he has enough. Klopp would prefer an 11.
That's a myth.
Would prefer an 11, and then other players that could go in, but not really gonna go and take the spot of the players that's starting in the 11. That's just the way he operates, and we've been used to that because we've always had a decent 11. And then we have a few guys that can come into the team here or there. Like not when Bobby's fit firing, who takes his spot? We didn't have Gakpo. Gakpo now is the guy that looks like he can do that. But Klopp never bought anyone to replace him. When Sadio was there, the only time probably when he bought Diaz was probably the only time we saw where he bought someone to kind of replace a player. Salah, he's not bought no one to replace Salah. He hasn't bought no one to compete with Trent. Tsimikas, you'd say probably he bought to kind of compete with Robbo, but at the same time, Robbo at his top level is way better than Tsimikas. Has he bought anyone to compete with Virgil? No, he doesn't do that. But then you look at the other teams, Man City, for instance, they do have players that's going to compete against each other. So when they replace someone like for like, it doesn't make any difference. But with us, take Virgil out, makes a massive difference. Take Trent out, massive difference. Take Salah out, massive difference. It's not the same contract, so he's a manager that doesn't like to, obviously, replace the actual 11 that he loves. It's our manager, man. What can we do?
And we didn't win enough trophies because of it.
All right, let's big up Bajan says for super chat. Says don't forget Klopp said we are spoiled for top 4. Big up Bajan with a super chat. Let me go to Ben. I know Ben will probably want to rebuttal some of that. Ben, before you rebuttal, why do you think, with our target of Tchouaméni not being able to get him as a midfielder and then still bringing Darwin in, why do you think Klopp or the owners, or whoever it was at fault, never looked at any other players in that midfield area? Do you think Klopp might have been a little bit naive last summer, thinking we're all right till next season, we'll go till next season and then replenish there, and just got it just completely wrong? or do you think there was something else to it?
I definitely think he's naive in that sense for that window. 100%. I said it earlier. I think he just thought we could go with the same guys again for one more year, and whether he thought we could win the league or get top 4. You know, he's always said top 4, and you know he gets criticised for this as well. Top 4 is at the start of the season what we aim for, and then if we're in a title race come February, March time, that's when we start looking up the table. And again, that, you know, some people say that's mentality, but I don't know. What Klopp tells the players behind the cameras, behind the press conferences is we don't know. But I'm not sure. I feel like as soon as Real Madrid came in for Tchouaméni, offered him all of that money. Yeah, we were never going to be able to sign him. They're probably one of 2 or 3 clubs that are bigger than us in world football, and as much as you don't like
Ben,
it,
don't you think it's poor planning, bro? Like not having different players in place, like they did in the past. Well, Marco Edwards was there. He used to have like 3 players to pick from, didn't they? If you look at that season when Salah all them signed, Salah wasn't even first choice, so that's what they normally have. And this time it looks like it's just poor organisation, man. Like it's just poor.
I agree with that.
It's not like Liverpool.
This time 5 months ago, we were not linked with McAllister. Not one person mentioned his name, and now he's the one that's going to come in. He's the big signing. So you're right. It seems like that's just come in the last 2-3 months. Mm-hmm. The Núñez thing, I get it, but we did lose a big forward, and obviously, again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and he's not worked out yet. But when you are losing Mane, if we didn't go and replace Mane, and you know we got an injury in the front line, the conversation would have been the same.
We already replaced Mane though. We already replaced him. Diaz was the replacement.
Diaz, yeah.
So
we already had him.
Then
we had Jota. We had Jota sat there.
Then
like, I'm so annoyed with the fact that we just didn't play Jota. Like, I'm waxed 85
We've lost 3 forwards there, haven't we? So you know, I don't know what the plan is in terms of the front line now. It seems like he is leaning towards Jota, Gakpo, and Salah at the minute.
Salah, yeah.
But we'll see, man. We'll see. I still have hope that Núñez will come good and will.
85 million on an Origi replacement. Jesus.
But then when we had Origi, hang on a sec. But then when we had Origi and Shaqiri, people were moaning, saying, "Oh, when City need a sub from the bench, they have Riyad Mahrez, they have Raheem Sterling, they have Gabriel Jesus, they have all these players, and we have, all due respect to Divock and Shaqiri, we have those guys coming on." So it's like we then sign bigger on paper name forwards, and now we don't need them. So
I mean, with the Darwin, we'll get to Darwin later in the show because I think there's going to be a lot of talk about Darwin. Right, I'm going to ask a question here, and everyone's going to debate about it. Right, guys. Also, before we carry on, everyone in live chat, look, everyone on the panel will have different views about different things about the football club. Some you might not agree on, some you agree on. All I ask is if you don't agree on things, you think someone's talking something you don't like, just please no abuse in the chat or anything like that, because this is the whole point of being a debate show, and you know we all support Liverpool Football Club in our own way. You know, not everyone's the same. So I'm going to get this question. Whose fault was it this season, FSG or Jurgen Klopp? And it's open floor. Anyone can go.
Easy.
First of all, everyone hit the like and subscribe, by the way, during the chat. Calm everyone down before we start answering. Okay, go.
No, it's easy, man. Easy. I'll start it off. It's the manager's fault. I'm not going to blame the owners for the manager's job. The manager's job is to pick an 11, sort the squad out, play great football, making sure we're right in the right areas throughout the season. If we get injuries, that's a part of the game, and you don't have a squad to deal with that, then that's your fault for not getting the players in that you need to get in.
But the thing is he the person that actually does the transfers? Is he the one who looks at players? Isn't
bro, it
that
doesn't
why?
matter about that. He's the manager of Liverpool Football Club, bro. He picks the team and he picks the formation we play. He does everything apart from the buying the players. Mm-hmm. And to some of the fan base, we were saying that he was the one buying players because we didn't have a sporting director as well. The only thing the owners do is give us the money to do what we need to do. And if they don't give you the money to do what you need to do, you have to adapt. That's the whole point of being a manager. And you're telling me these players are not good enough to get in the top 4? If we had no injuries Are you telling me these players
Listen,
are
if there's no
good
injuries,
enough to
yeah,
get top four?
they could get in top four. But I don't just blame the manager. Like, you know what I mean? That's why you got sporting directors for. You know, someone that could challenge you, someone that's, you know, there to help you out with the transfers, look at talent and things like that. And that's.
I was going to say that comment spot on. You got to blame the players as well at some stage.
Yeah, the players have to take blame. The players have to take the blame. The players, you can't just perform the last 10 games of the season and expect to get top four. You know what I mean, Ben? It doesn't happen like that, mate. You got to be performing from the beginning.
Football, bro. We're picking and choosing who we blame, bro. They're grown men.
I think if you look at it as well, if I went and told you, I'm gonna make a cake, and you ask me if I've got all the ingredients, and I tell you, yes, I do. Look, I've got this egg, I've got that egg, I've got this, I've got that. And the target is, and look, we're not debating whether it's Klopp's fault, whether we didn't win the league or not. Look at the position that we were in. We were 8th and 9th. I guarantee you, we wouldn't be having this conversation if we were 4th, if we were 3rd. No one would be having this conversation. We'd be saying, oh, look, then you can look at FSG, then you can look at signing, saying, you know what, we didn't bring anyone that could move the needle. We've regressed a tiny bit. When you're looking at Liverpool being 8th and 9th, and you're seeing consistent mistakes being made over and over again, and you're looking at and I agree to a certain extent the players have got to go and take blame. But if Fabinho hasn't got the legs to do what he was doing anymore, if a Virgil hasn't got the legs to do what he does anymore, if you can see consistently over 5, 10, 15 games that Trent isn't able to go and defend that right back and he's being targeted and you're not doing anything to solve it, then I've got to look at the manager. I'm looking at Klopp, and there's so many times he showed no ability to go and adapt. If this was a business, you'd look at this CEO and be like, he's running this business into the ground. He's not making any changes. He's not trying to go and maneuver anything to go and get the team out of the rut. We could have gone to a 5 at the back. He could have said, you know what, Trent, you're being X'd out. I'm playing Gomez at right back. We saw Pep Guardiola do that with Cancelo. 6-7 months ago, Cancelo was arguably the best right back or left back, best fullback in the world. Someone saying in the Prem, challenging Trent in that department. 6 months later, there's Arsenal fans debating whether they want him at the team or not after links, saying, you know what, I'm not sure he's that good defensively, you know. Pep just said, you know what, defensively we're shambolic. I'm just going to go with defensively solid players at the back. Klopp didn't do any of that at all at one point in the season until 11 games ago when he saw Arsenal. He saw Liverpool. He saw Man City do the inverted fullback role when Jota was trying to press Stones, and Stones ended up in midfield, which meant that there was an overload. And said, let's do that in the second half against Arsenal, and we started to get some joy. Prior to that, there was nothing there. So for me, look, I know it's football and it's difficult. If this was any other walk of life, if you had a teacher in a school, right, and you had a child going to school and your teacher wasn't learning, but the teacher was just having the same method, you'd be like, you know what? This teacher's just, he's lost it now. Like, this is his fault. Because he's not looking at the available kind of resources he's got available to him and saying, you know what, this is how we're going to go and make it work.
Yeah, I agree, Jerry. I agree. Like the thing that angers me more than anything is he persists with the same players again and again and again until he wants to get it right, but it never works. You know what I mean? That's like Harvey Elliott, for example. I'm not trying to ask him out, but he's not a right-sided midfielder, but he keeps persisting with players like that on a regular basis and expect to like different results in the game. So he needs to get out of that next season. Maybe this season is just a learning curve for all of us. Maybe that's what it is for him as well. Maybe that's what he needs to like correct next season and you know, like get the right players in and have like the right competition for places, and then probably those players that's not doing well, maybe they'll raise their game as well. I mean, like, but you're right. Listen, it is the manager to blame as well. But I see it as a whole. I see the owners, the manager, everybody. It's just failed this season, in my opinion. But yeah, the majority of it is the manager. It is the manager. I agree.
This season for me fits squarely on his shoulders, 100%. I mean, if you're going to sit there in front of the press and say you don't need this and you don't need that, and then you panic and then get a loan sign and then gets injured after 13 minutes, when you throw him on against Liverpool and you fall one down, I mean, what are you trying to do? I mean, you're sticking square pegs in round holes all the way through the season. You're playing left-sided players on the right side. You're playing forwards in midfield I mean, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? I mean, you've got the world's greatest midfielder for the last 4 years sat at right back, and then you suddenly decide, oh, he's actually a really good midfielder. The guy went on strike. The guy went on strike at the start of the season to prove a point so he could play in midfield. We probably turned around and said to him, look, boss, I'm going to go to Real Madrid if you don't start playing me in the position that I'm really good at. The whole season sits on him. If you're going to give that much power to your assistant manager and you're going to let him do pre-season training and injure all your players, it falls on you. If you've then got your fitness coach with articles in newspapers, people saying that no one wants to work with them because they've got too much power, because nobody's listening to them, your director of football leaves because you want to give contracts to players that aren't good enough to have contracts, it falls on you. Like, you know, the amount of times we've been winning in finals and we've lost because he hasn't made that change that's needed to happen. You can see that there's a midfielder that needs to be dragged off because he's having a bad game, or you can see you're getting overrun and you don't make any changes, and then you lose.
What finals were they?
Real Madrid.
When were we winning against Real Madrid?
The Europa League one still, you can put that in there if you want.
We'll never win.
You can put quite a few in there.
It was winning 1-0 at half time still, but we lost 3-1.
Don't worry, lads. We'll get the opportunity to to win that one to next summer, next year.
Oh, look, yeah, big up Baz, by the way. I hope we do win the Europa League. Why not? You should win every trophy you're in, if you ask me.
Hell yeah.
But, G, I know you're Jurgen Klopp's biggest fan, and
really, G. Really, G.
Klopp on his back, by the way. Just
leave the best till last.
G loves him, man. G loves him. G, I know. Look, I know you're not the Klopp's biggest fan, but even this season, there is something. Even I've looked back on it, and there's just little. I don't know if you've noticed as well. There seems to be a bit of a spark gone out of him this season. Do you not agree? And what do you think it is?
Yeah,
what do you think it is? Because I've not even seen that. You know, that towards the end of the season, he got a bit more passionate and angry, where he got his suspensions and stuff like that. Although Pep Guardiola can hug and manhandle referees and it's okay, but it's another story. But you know, he got his fire back. That's the Klopp we know, usually from the first game to the last. You know, he's that passionate. What happened to him this season? Because like, I love the guy, and I think he's perfect for the club. I know others don't think that, but there was something missing in him this season, weren't there? What do you think?
Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah. Better now. Yeah.
I think it was a mixture of what everyone's kind of saying, a bit like of what Ben was saying about, you know, Klopp being able to squeeze another season. I think it was almost that as well from him in terms of just being able to squeeze another one of those kind of seasons. And then this summer was supposed to be the whole transition and, you know, do all of that kind of stuff. But I just think also as well, like, a bit of naivety, you know, kind of just got, you know, put upon him because, and where he's so stubborn in terms of what he wants to do, how he sees things and stuff like that, which obviously has brought us some level of success. So on the one hand, you're like, okay, I get it. I can see why you think that way. But then on the other hand, it's like, as Jerry mentioned, you're going through a season where things are not really working. But instead of you almost just saying, you know what, like he did with the whole midfielder situation, you know what, I'm kind of fucking up here. Like, it's kind of a mess at this current moment in time. As you mentioned, certain players not really playing well. That's not on him. Players not playing well. He can't make a player play any better than they are currently. That's on the player. But when it comes to just changing things in game, certain substitutions that you're doing, changing a formation, like all of these various different things, I'm looking at you thinking, it's because you don't want to. I don't even think he wanted to change to this formation. I actually just think it was just one of those where he genuinely, like he kept saying, he just believed that we weren't ever really in a position to get that top four because of where we were at that time before we went on this run. Now is probably the best time to just try something out, just kind of see if it works, maybe just push Trent. And it really, the formation isn't that much different to anything we're actually doing. It's just really Trent is the only thing that's actually kind of changed realistically in this formation. And I just looked at him and I just thought to myself, I don't get why you're so proud that you can't even just admit that what you're doing is wrong. And you can see that this season, unfortunately, other managers are showing that they're a bit more tactically adept and they can change things, different formations, different styles of play in different games. But you don't want to do that because you still have the belief that what got you to the point that everybody loves you is that, like, will just keep us there. Which, again, like I said, on one side is cool and I admire that, but then on the other side, it's like you're looking at, for example, I think Brighton probably played the best football in the Premier League this season, kind of thing. Then you're looking at your Man Cities, then you're looking at your Arsenals, then you're looking at even Newcastle. Not even that they play brilliantly, but they play in a style of football that obviously suits what they are trying to do. And it's like you didn't even think to change it or to do something different. Like you just kept running it back 4-3-3, same thing over.
But he did before the World Cup. He did it, didn't he? He played double pivot and we was winning. And then the World Cup came, and then he's going back to 4-3-3 again.
We keep saying that we changed this formation before the World Cup. We didn't change the formation. We just changed the role with certain players within the same formation. It was the same. If you looked at the heat map, because I kept thinking the same thing when everyone kept saying it. Go back and look at the heat maps of all of those games that you think we changed. We didn't change anything. It was just purely the sheer fact that certain roles with some players were just a little bit different. But it was like a minuscule. Like it weren't anything major enough to be like, oh yeah, but we're playing this formation or we're doing that. Nothing was really changed. And then it's just the whole you relying on certain players who are letting you down. Like if someone, at the end of the day, like it's not your fault that they're letting you down. Like I'm not going to get onto Klopp if Henderson's not playing well or Van Dijk's not playing well. That's got nothing to do with you. That's to do with them. But you've then got to be kind of man enough to at least say, okay, you know what? Let me just try and change it, because ultimately what's then happened is you've got players who are sitting there, haven't played in ages. So when they do come in, like everyone kept saying, I didn't watch the game, but everyone spoke about Kelleher. Oh, he was rusty. He was just, the guy hasn't played in like, God knows how long. Like, what do you expect him to be Buffon, in his first, like, it's just not going to happen. So if that's the case, you then need to, the man management, this is where it comes in for me. Everyone talks about his man management. He's great, this, that, and the third. But I feel like his man management is good when he's got everything perfect and everything is all right. As a whole, I don't really feel like it's that good, because I don't feel like he's able to manage some of these other players into kind of just putting them also in the team, but then allowing them to giving them the facilities to be able to perform on a match day. Because like the level of players that we've got here, it shouldn't be such a drop off. Shaqiri is not that bad. Do you get? Origi wasn't that bad. Like these players are not so crap that you're like, oh my goodness. But when you've got a manager who plays his favorites, doesn't like to rotate, likes to keep everybody in the first team or in the first 11 kind of happy, and everybody else, it's just more, look, you can be along for the ride type of vibe. For me, it just wasn't really working. And that's where, like, I look at Klopp and I'm just like, everything that is wrong with you got exposed this season, which is unfortunate, because obviously it never got exposed before. But everything that is wrong with you got exposed. How do you change it? I don't care if we don't. I say I don't care. I want us to win the league, but I wouldn't have been fussed if we didn't win the league, but we tried something different. We were doing different things. We tried to at least change, but he never did that. So then I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? I can only sit here and look at you, and the owners are not the ones I'm really concerned about, because the reality is, if you don't go to your owners and if you don't go to your mum and ask her for that £20, how do you expect to get the £20 that you need to go and buy whatever it is that you need to?
I'll take it out of a purse.
It should be kind of like silly little things. It's like if you're not going to ask for that £20, then you've got to try and fix whatever it is or do whatever it is with whatever you have available. But then that's on you. You can't then say, oh, but my mum didn't give me. Well, you didn't ask. If you didn't ask, where do you it's one of those.
Damn you, mum. Damn you.
But you sit there and tell everyone you don't.
Hey, Jamie, just before you ask your next question, Jamie, can I just ask you one question?
Yeah, chat it, man.
So you're telling me in the Tottenham game we weren't playing the 4-4-2 diamond then? So my eyes are lying to me, and you're telling me the heat map was telling you what the formation was? Because I pretty much saw Nunes and Salah was playing up front. Yeah, the game we won 1-0. Was it 1-0 or 2-0 against Spurs? Or 2-1? I remember when we beat them.
Away at their grand, it's about. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we played the Diamond, didn't we? Because I remember watching.
And the
games
Man City
playing
game as well.
Birmingham.
That 1-0 win, yeah.
I'm
Was a
just
different formation.
unless you're telling me
Maybe.
my eyes are lying to me,
Times.
and the heat map was telling
Three
you
times.
something different. That's cool, but I know what I saw.
Maybe okay, cool. Okay, fair enough. I'd say maybe that one game out of the 38. Then yeah, I'll hear it. Yeah.
Man City at home.
West Ham and Man City
Yeah.
West Ham. When did we play with a Diamond at West Ham?
before Christmas.
I had time when Nunes was tearing them up still. That game.
I don't remember playing a Diamond in that game. The Tottenham game I can kind of remember, but I don't remember West Ham or the Man City game. Man City game, actually, I still think that was even still a 4-3-3 when we were trying to defend, but it was like a 4-4-1-1 when we were trying to go a bit forward in the game.
No, he was
There you
quick
go.
on the map. Is that you, Jamie? Quick.
Yeah. That's the Spurs game now. Darwin and Salah up top, the Diamond in midfield. Yeah.
There you go.
But
Can you not look at that and see that could still
that
be
can
literally a 4-3-3?
that could easily go to 4-3-3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
And what did I say about the players?
What it can do and what happened is two different things because it never went to a 4-3-3.
Of
There
course,
was
it
two stages.
would have had to have gone to a 4-3-3 because you wouldn't have been able to play in the transition in that formation.
I was complaining the whole game. We have no width, and that's how Tottenham came back in the game in the second half.
So Darwin Núñez was not pulling out wide.
No,
and
because
burning
they
on
changed, the reason why is because Tottenham in the second half changed to a back five, and then they kept overloading us on the wide areas. So that's why the formation stopped working. In the first half, it was working because they had a back four. Bro, I watch a game. Look, we're gonna have difference in opinion on the game. But I watch the game, and listen, the heat map can tell you one thing, but my eyes tell me another, bro. And in no point in the game did Nunes go out wide. He was standing in the middle with him and Mo the whole game, and Bobby was just sitting in the 10. Just trying to dictate and
you could say that about the Man City game as well. You could say that like, if you look at the Man City formation, it was similar to that, but it was like double pivot with Fabinho and Thiago, and then you got Firmino in front of them, Harvey Elliott on the right, and Jota on the left, and Salah as a striker. So we did play different formations before Christmas. We didn't play always 4-3-3.
That's
So two
cool.
formations in a season. Okay, fair enough.
I want more than that. I agree, bro. I agree.
No. I'm not asking.
I want more than that.
For
Yeah.
you to play. I'm not asking for you to play 10 different formations. We're talking about in a season you played 90% of it 4-3-3. In the 3 games that everyone has just picked out, we used apparently this new formation.
Hey, listen, the World Cup came in, G, man, and then Klopp decided to change it back.
Change over.
He
He
was running
overthinks
this
things,
man.
isn't it? He overthinks. That's what he does.
Yeah, man, we was doing
Right.
good
He
in
does,
the World Cup.
man.
Let's
Don't
go.
give the guy a break.
When has
Let's
he
talk
ever
about-
changed? When has he ever changed the formation in a match?
Never. I can't remember any, man.
Like, even if we're getting tonked, when has he ever changed the formation in a match? Like, that's insane. Like, I do that on Football Manager.
I can't remember. Sometimes he brings on all the strikers, doesn't he? Sometimes he puts
Yeah,
all the
maybe,
attackers or
yeah,
something
those
like
kind of
that. Yeah.
Let me ask a question on that one. Do many managers change the formation during a game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen
They
Brentford
do.
managers do
I've
it quite a
seen
lot.
of managers.
Do it quite a lot. Like,
Or does the system just change, but the formation stays the same?
Most teams do.
Both.
Most teams do it, Jamie.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Let's talk about players. Let's get to the good stuff. I want to start with Carvalho, Ben. I'm going to throw this to Ben.
Oh, God.
So there were quotes from Klopp recently about Carvalho. We've seen, I'm not on Instagram, but people that are on Instagram apparently seen Carvalho's thing on Instagram lately. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, it's a load of nonsense, I think.
Then you talk, hearing people about Carvalho might be leaving, and what's going on with Carvalho, Ben? In your opinion, because was he the right fit from us from the start? Was he an FSG Moneyball transfer? What do you think it is, Ben?
I don't know. First of all, I will say I was a bit disappointed with how it's panned out because when we linked with him, I sat and watched 3 or 4 Fulham games when they were going for the title. Looking at this kid, really excited to see him play. The deadline day when we signed Diaz and we were trying to push for Carvalho, we eventually ran out of time. Typical as I guess, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, I wanted the kid to do well. I don't think we're going to sell him permanently. I think that's already been said by a few reputable people. So I think it will be on loan. The fit, I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe it is that he said with the FSG Moneyball thing, because I feel like this kid was wanted by loads of clubs. It wasn't just us. There were so many clubs in for him. And I think when that opportunity comes, a few million for a kid like him, you know, there's every chance that you sign him right, he's going to explode into a top player, or you can cash in and get some money in for him. I would have preferred him to be given at least half of the chance, to be honest. And I have said this about Klopp a lot this season. I'm his biggest defender. I'll back that man till the death for me. But bringing him on when we're getting battered with a minute to go is just it's disappointing. He's not. So he did get chances relatively early on in his career. He scored against City in the Cup after the World Cup. He scored the winner against Newcastle. Seemed to be doing okay. And then you get all this speculation, you know, when it comes out yesterday that apparently he's not in the plans with attitude and stuff. Things that nobody really knows. We have no idea what goes on the training ground. We have no idea what's happened behind the scenes. But yeah, I don't think we're going to sell him. I think we'll look to loan him out. And I do think that is probably the right thing to do, because he's not going to play next season. I think that's pretty certain.
Can I ask you a question, brother? Like, what position is this kid? Like, I haven't watched him like you do. Like, is he a number 10? Is he out wide? Is he a central midfield? What is he? What's his normal position? Like, if he would play well, that's what I mean.
He was playing in the 10 for Fulham, but I remember watching an interview with him when we signed him, and he said he said that himself. He said he wants to play on the left, and that is his favourite position to play. But when he went to Fulham, they put him in the middle to get him more goals and assists and to like create more chances. So I think he does want to be a winger.
He plays in the Coutinho role.
I just think he's not the type of winger that he would like to use.
Yeah, he's not quick, is he, guys? He's not quick, is he?
It's been explosive. If you look at the wingers that Liverpool have signed over recent years, even when Coutinho was in the team, right, and Coutinho came in, he played on the left. As soon as we signed Salah, as soon as we got any wingers, Coutinho dropped into midfield, because the types of winger that Klopp is going to use is the one that can be very direct, that can get off the mark very, very quickly. Mane, Salah, Diaz. There's a reason why Shaqiri, even on the wing, didn't really work as well. Shaqiri started sometimes playing in. We had to kind of change our formation and play him as a 10. For me, he just doesn't fit what Liverpool are trying to go and do. It's the same thing with Elliott as well. Elliott out wide, he's probably naturally, it suits his game a bit better. I think he's more comfortable at that. We saw it against Wolves. Probably his best game in recent memory anyway, that I can remember.
Jerry, question. Jerry, do you think, like, with these players, like, considering their age, we're asking too much from them? Like, you know what I mean? Because when I watched Carvalho play, I watched him against Everton this season. Like, he got bullied a few times. He just got out of the game. Didn't produce anything afterwards. Do you think like their age plays a big part of them having confidence to play in the first team like Liverpool Football Club?
Not written. I wouldn't say age, you know, because Carvalho, Elliott, I think they're 19 now, right? If I'm correct, 19, 20. I think Carvalho might be a bit older. 20.
20. Yeah.
We wanted to sign Bellingham last summer. Apparently, he would have been 20.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, like,
for me, it's not
like, considering what we was fighting for before, and then you want them to produce the same thing as the previous players. We're asking too much of them.
I mean, it depends on how high you rate them. That's a subjective kind of opinion, because ultimately, I couldn't care less how old anyone is. Like, if the manager's saying he's good enough to go and play, you play. Like, I'm not of the note thinking, because he's young, he needs to kind of, develop and needs to, I think physically, you know, Carvalho isn't the most imposing type of individual. Neither is Elliott, but I don't think that's to do with age, because if he's good enough, you play. We had Michael Owen at Liverpool tearing it up.
Yeah. Look at Bajcetic this year.
Fabregas was at Arsenal at 17, tearing it up. I don't think age is a problem if you're good enough. I think the question is, are they good enough for where Liverpool want to go right now? That's a different question. But
JJ, didn't we not compare Coutinho to Carvalho as well? Didn't we, JJ? We can. I'd say most people was comparing Carvalho to like Coutinho. Coutinho wasn't imposing players, but what we did do, put imposing players around him, bro, to get the best out of him.
Yeah, and not only that, I think we need to, as fans as well, we've got this tendency to want to overhype our players because they're our players. So we sign a player and all of a sudden he's the best thing since sliced bread. So, do you know what I mean? You might not want Carvalho in the team. He comes in, it's like, oh my God, he's great. He's just as good as Coutinho. He's Coutinho reincarnated. If we signed Bellingham, it would have been Gerrard reincarnated. And don't get it twisted. Coutinho,
that's a fair point as well.
Coutinho and Carvalho, like Coutinho was a wonder kid. I mean, from Brazil, like
the magician, isn't he?
Work out at Inter Milan, but you're talking of a high level talent. Carvalho is someone like, yeah, look, he's good. Don't get it twisted. But when we overhype these players, then the question from Fozy comes: are we asking too much of them? Well, what were you expecting from them? If you were going into the season thinking, yeah, these are going to be our main guys, which Carvalho was, because we signed him, and Klopp told us he's going to be part of the first team, then we're not asking too much of him. If Klopp's saying, Elliott's going to be, he's starting in the first game of the season and he's playing the second game of the season, we're not asking too much of him, because the manager, who's above all of our pay grades, is saying that, yeah, he's the guy. So then we have to look at it and be like, well, he's the guy, is he good enough or not? And I think that's the way to go and rate it. If you haven't seen a guy play, I think that's when it's easy to go and sit back and be like, you know what, we're not sure. If like Bajcetic as an example, he weren't in the plans in the start of the season.
Never
so
was.
We now relied on Bajcetic to try to take us to the top four. Of course, we're asking too much of him, because that weren't in the plans. Carvalho and Elliott were firmly in the plans. We signed Carvalho before the Champions League final.
Yeah,
You have
that makes no sense to me.
You have to look back on this as well with the Carvalho and the Elliott thing, because look, are you really going to go into the Premier League season with a 19-year-old central midfielder
to be in the first team?
Okay, that's the first thing. They're in a league below you. Sorry, a completely different league below you. So we're signing Championship players, to play in the Premier League, and they've never played in the Premier League before, and that's Carvalho. Okay, I didn't expect anything from Carvalho, and I don't know why anyone else thought they did, because we just played in the Championship. And then you've got Harvey Elliott, who played for Blackburn the season before, and you're going to throw him in to the central midfield, which he didn't play the season before. What do you expect? What do you expect playing Harvey Elliott and Carvalho in your midfield at the start of the season? Did you really expect them to win the Premier League? To start banging in goals and to start dominating the midfield? It's just nuts. It's absolute madness that you'd even expect that from two kids. And look what happened. You didn't get that from them. And that's because they are kids and they shouldn't be in this situation in the first place.
Go on, Ben. I know you're going to say something before. Yeah.
I was just going to say, it makes no sense to now, if those reports are true that Klopp's told Carvalho that he's not in his plans, then the whole thing just doesn't make sense to me. Because if it was a Klopp signing, and if Klopp has the power, like everyone's saying, then why did we sign this kid? Why did we waste a year of his career when he was popping them in every week for Fulham?
What I don't get, Ben, because I agree with you, is why not loan him out in January if you know he's not going to play? If that's the case, I mean, it's easy to go look, that can happen. You might sign a player and think, you know what, he's not that good, or we thought he could be this, and he's not offering us that. Cool. You make steps, or you take action against that. With us, we've look, I want to hit back on what K-Mac saying. We're saying they're kids. If we sign Pedri, Bellingham, and Gavi, or Pedri, Bellingham, and Tchouaméni to go and play in our midfield over what we've got now, I don't think anyone will be saying they're kids. I think the problem is just they're not good enough to do what we're asking them to do. I think that's essentially what we're saying.
They didn't play in a lower league either.
It isn't because he's too young and he needs to adapt or anything like that. He's just not good enough right now. Let's just be honest about it. Because if we signed Cesc Fabregas when he was 17 or 18, no one was saying he's not good enough. When Mbappe at 18, 19, or even 20 years old, no one says, but he's a kid, we can't play him. He's just good enough to go and play. Right now, look, put it this way. If Liverpool were 8th, 9th, even this season, we could play Carvalho every single game. The reason why he's not in our plans, or that's what's reported, is because the players that are going to be coming in, they're going to be playing in this position, and he's not going to get any game time because he's not good enough. If he's good enough, he would have played. Because we were telling him anyway, who's like his age mate.
Let's talk about another player like that in Harvey Elliott. So Harvey Elliott had a strong start of the season. well in Klopp's plans. I think he made like, was it 40 appearances in a row for the club, and then sort of went off a little bit when we went to that sort of new system with Trent being inverted. You know, we didn't see as much as Harvey as we did before that. Baz, has Harvey Elliott got a future at Liverpool next season if we're going to be bringing in new midfielders? And if he can't play, if Klopp wants to play this inverted way with Trent next season and carry on this system, I don't think Harvey suits it, because I don't know where he plays in that midfield if Trent's playing there. And then is Harvey just the right wing substitution for Mo Salah? Is that how we see him next season, Baz?
Harvey Elliott is the only way I can describe him is one of Klopp's favourites. That's all I can think, because the thing is, you play him in midfield, he's not a midfielder. He's an attacking player. He wants to go forward. He's not going to do a Jordan Henderson, you know what I mean, when Trent was, if they did play the 4-3-3 where he'd have to go back and stuff. He's passing it to Mo Salah. He's got his idol on the right-hand side. He's just passing it to him. He needs to do a little bit more. I feel he's he's just being carried in this team. He's not good enough for it. I do think Jurgen Klopp will probably, if he doesn't go and find someone, to cover Mo Salah, which I think they need to, then this guy will probably be there. He'll probably be the right-sided midfielder, and I don't think he's good enough. You need the only way players get experience is by playing them in the positions they want, that they're good at. Someone like him, he needs to be able to do what Mo Salah can do. You know what I mean? I mean, like taking on players if he's going to play in that position, putting crosses or taking better shots and stuff like that. And I don't think he's getting enough of that experience in midfield, because he's been asked to do something in midfield which is not him. He'll do you a job. He'll probably, in a good game, he'll probably give you like a 7 or 8 out of 10. He might get you a goal or something like that. Maybe a assist, but I don't think he's suited for that position. And the only reason why I think he stays over someone like a Carvalho, for example, is because he's one of those favourites. Klopp and his favourites is the problem. He will keep this guy. I don't think he offers us a lot at all. I think you can put Curtis Jones in there. You can even put Carvalho in there. Carvalho will think forward, and he's more of a cam or something like that. I think when you look at Elliott, he's just more of a wide player, but he's not going to get his opportunity to play there. So, I don't see what's the point.
Fair enough. Fozzie, do you think Curtis Jones has overtaken Harvey in the pecking order now?
Yeah, 100%, brother. But with Curtis Jones, I need more from him, guys. I don't want him just to pass the ball back and to the winger and then back again. He needs to do more to develop. He's had his opportunities at Liverpool since that pandemic season. He's been playing the first team, and we're still waiting for him to do more than what he does right now. I need him to shoot more from outside the box. I need him to create chances. I need him to score goals. I know I'm asking too much, but he's got to do more than what he's doing at the moment, which is safe football.
Talking about Curtis or Elliott?
No, Curtis.
We're not talking about Curtis.
Yeah. No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious, mate. Listen, he's done well since he's come back into the team, but he's doing more. He's doing more. Came back. He's doing more.
He's the best passer in our team.
He could be the best passer, passing back and forward. You know what I mean? But you need more. You need to create chances. You need to create chances. You need to listen. He's the number 8, so he's got to play like a number 8. If you know what I mean, he's got to score goals more. He's got to shoot from outside the box, which he doesn't do a lot. And from what I've seen in the last couple of games, he has dropped off. Don't get me wrong, K-Mac. You know what I mean, what he does is not like what you need as a number 8, mate. Like I could get if you get McAllister in that position, he'll offer even more than what Curtis Jones is offering. That's what I'm trying to say to you, bro. Like he had these opportunities, and he has to improve. More than what he's doing at the moment. I know you probably just conceded that.
A quick one on that, yeah. Bellingham, how many games consecutively has he played under like forgetting injury and stuff like that? How many games do you think he's played consistently, game in game out?
I don't watch it. I don't know. I don't watch it.
You're talking. He's averaging more or less 30 games a season where he plays every single game, right?
Yeah.
Saka at Arsenal. Now Saka's this world beater, right? How many games does he play consistently? Every
No, he
single
plays the
season?
same amount. Yeah, he plays the same amount.
Yeah. Unfortunately, these players that we're talking about, regardless where we're playing them, you can play them left wing, you can play them up front. The only way you're going to go and develop, the only reason we're talking about Bellingham and Tchouaméni and all these players, Pedri, Gavi, they play every single game, so they're able to go and develop.
But the thing is, JJ, he does get opportunities though, brother. He does get opportunities. You can't say he doesn't get opportunities.
No, he doesn't. He's played 64. He's played 64 games, and he started 36 times his entire career. That's Curtis Jones. Okay. That's it.
So how long, K-Max? So how long do you want us to wait for him to develop into the player that you want?
What I'm saying,
he's not a young man anymore.
No. Started more games than Curtis Jones.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
Go, K-Max.
Started more games than Curtis Jones, the Liverpool FC.
JJ respond.
And you can't say Curtis Jones hasn't had a chance because he hasn't.
Yeah, he's got a chance.
Look,
I think he has.
I agree. There's games. Curtis Jones, in recent memory, he hasn't exploded the way he did against that the way he did in that derby, the way he's gone and played in the academy. 100% agree with that. There's two factors we've got to look at. What role has he been asked to go and play? Right, because we've talked. So I addressed the question. You speak about shooting from outside the box. None of our midfielders shoot from outside the box. Henderson doesn't. Milner didn't. Naby Keita didn't. Elliott when he plays doesn't. No one does. That's that. Klopp has
You know the only
from outside
midfielder
the
it does.
Yeah,
You know the only midfielder it
But
does.
JJ, the thing I'm trying to go on, JJ.
Let me land. Klopp's spoken about shooting from outside the box, that being giving away possession, and we don't want to do that. Hence why every single time we do that, or every single time we get outside the box, it goes back out wide for the ball to come back in. So that's just a tactic. We don't shoot the way he shoot from outside the box. That Gerrard would shoot on sight. We never do that. We hardly do that anymore, right? So cool. That's the first thing. Second thing I want to talk about is these players that we're talking about, the Sakas, your Emil Smith-Rowe's, your flipping Morgan Gibbs-White's, even this season, right? Morgan Gibbs-White at Wolves. If I told you Liverpool are signing him for 40 million, would you be like, yeah, that's a player there, you know? No, you wouldn't. But what happened? He was able to go and play games consistently, week in, week out, and then you can go and have a fair assessment on whether the player's good enough or not. Yeah. I'm looking at, and obviously that's from our perspective, right? What we're seeing right now with these players is that at Liverpool, they're not getting, unfortunately, because Liverpool are at a point where you're challenging for leagues, you're challenging for Champions Leagues, they're not going to go and be like, yeah, Curtis Jones, you know what? You're going to play every single game, you know? And whether you could have 5 games where you're good, you could have 10 games where you're shit, and you could have 7 games where you're average. Yeah. But we're still going to go and trust in you because you're the future of the club. Liverpool aren't going to go and do that because you've got bigger fish to fry, and that's what happens when you're a bigger team. So, and that's what happens. So I agree. Curtis Jones hasn't gone and hit the heights that we thought he would. Neither has Elliott. But what I'm saying is these players haven't got a chance or season on the boat where they've played games consistently, where you can actually be like, you know what, that play is just garbage. You know, back in the day we did. With Sterling played. How many games did Sterling play? When Sterling came through, Sterling wasn't amazing every single game, but he was able to just go and play because we had no one else. And what I'm saying is that the only way we're going to go and see the best of Bajcetic, the best of Curtis Jones, the best of Elliott, the best of Carvalho, is that they have to have the ability to go and play every single game. But then Liverpool are caught in this situation now. Do you go and do that and sack off? You know what? Liverpool aren't going to be winning for a while because we're trying to develop this team the same way Arsenal did, where they just didn't have any players to go and play. They dropped Lacazette, dropped Aubameyang, Mason Mount at Chelsea, Tammy Abraham. What happened? They had a transfer embargo. They had to play every single game. They were able to go and develop. Now we're seeing the fruits, whether you think they're I agree with what you're saying. I 100% agree with what you're saying. But the thing I'm trying to get through here is like he needs to keep improving, and so he could have a place in the first team. Like do something different. You could play safe pass all you like in every game, like Harvey Elliott does and he does. But let's see something different in the game. That's what I want to see. Instead of like seeing the same stuff, like passing back and forward.
Foz, was he your best midfielder in the last 15 games? Yes or no?
He's been all right. No? I'm not saying he's been the best. As a team, we done good. As a team, we done good. Yeah.
Best midfielder.
I thought Fabinho was fantastic as well. I thought Fabinho was good as well.
Fabinho's a DM, but okay.
Yeah, but you're talking about midfielders, right?
Midfielder. Was he? Answer the question, mate.
Yeah. Well, there's no competition. But who's playing? Who's playing in the team? I mean, we've got Henderson running up and down.
All right, guys.
Yeah, you're talking about him and Henderson. Come on, K-Mac, man. You can't put Henderson in that question, bro. I'm even better than Henderson now if I could play, man. Come on, bro. You can't put Henderson in that situation, bro. Come on.
Guys. I think the whole...
Come on, K-Mac, man. Henderson? Really? Sorry, Jay.
I think the problem we've got this season is that we're arguing about Curtis Jones here. This might be the whole problem about Liverpool Football Club right now.
Quick one, because I wanted to ask something, because I know I want to get G's perspective on this.
Go for it, go on.
If McAllister comes into the team, right, Foz is saying that, McAllister's going to offer something different, right? Something completely different.
Yeah.
Is he going to offer something different, or is he going to be asked to do the same role that Jones is doing, but just maybe he can do it more consistently? Jones is showing that consistency right now, but we've spoken about Jones, you might have a good game, then a poor game, then a good game, then a poor game. Gini Wijnaldum, loads of people, and he was my favourite player, people wanted to go and tell me he didn't offer anything. He didn't shoot from outside the box. He didn't assist. He didn't do this. What makes you so certain that a McAllister, Bellingham comes in and does what they're doing for their respective clubs? At Liverpool? And I know I want to know G's perspective. I think the chat should hear that as well.
Firstly, I just watched an extended highlights of that Liverpool Spurs game, and I'm telling you now,
that's what you were doing.
I just finished watching that game. I'm saying, wherever you're at this time moment in time, it was 4-3-3 with Fabinho dropping it. I don't like. To me, that was not the whatever formation that you guys are doing. But whatever. I had to check it because I was like, you don't make me feel like I'm crazy. I had to actually watch this game back like 10 times. On to what Jerry just said though. On a level, the reality is this is why I'm not so super optimistic, like whoever we sign, because they're gonna do the same things that we're telling the players to do now. So as Jerry just said, like McAllister's going to do exactly what Curtis Jones is doing right now. It just means that I think he can do it more consistently than a Curtis Jones. Whoever's on the right, whoever we sign for the right centre, whoever we sign for DM, whoever we sign as the right centre back, left, whatever, they're just going to do the same job. So the reality is it the player or is it just the role that they're being asked to do? Is that going to be the issue? That's why I'm not looking at some of these signs. Like, they're good players. McAllister, good players. Kefren Turam has been linked to, good player. Konek, someone just put in the chat. Like, these are good players. But they're good players at what they do at their football club. What they do at their football club is completely different to what we're asking them to do here. And again, that's also something. But is that going to be the answer for us moving forward? And that's why when you look at a Jones or whatever, he's been asked to do like the role of, I can't even say Jimmy, he's just been asked to do whatever that role is in the team. Harvey Elliott, the same thing. So when we're debating about a Jones and whatever, I'll be honest, Jamie just said it there. We're debating about two mediocre players. Like, we're not even debating about two players of that Elliott. But what Jerry did mention is the reality is, if you're not playing, how do you expect to get better? We saw by Tchouaméni, from when we saw him come in, we saw, he's a good little player, but he got game, kept playing, and you can see he was almost going into the role that he was being asked to do for the team. Same with Curtis Jones. Like, we've never seen Jones play this amount of games. So when you're seeing him play this amount of games now, where I really believe, like, you get into a situation like Jerry mentioned, like, you need to be able to play 10, 15 games in a row, some shit, some average, some excellent, whatever, but at least knew when he got into the team that because we had no one else, Thiago's been injured the rest of the season, we had no one else to play there, so he knew that the manager was going to rely on him. That gives you extra bit of confidence. So you're then seeing that confidence in his game now, where you're like, right, you went from someone that most of us probably thought it's probably time, or you're going to need a loan, or you're not really fit here. For sudden, it's like, well, he can be a squad player. Maybe between him and McAllister, maybe they're going to sit like that. Just changed in the space of 10 games. Because he was just getting games, like he was able to showcase what he can actually do. But we also saw bad moments from Curtis. He wasn't excellent throughout the whole time. He had some games where you're like, "Ooh, he's really that good today." But guess what? It doesn't matter because the manager trusted me to still go next game, and then I score 2 goals, or I assist, or I do this, or I do that. And I think if we start doing that a lot more with some of these players, you'll see better performing players. So you might see a better Carvalho potential. You might see, if you play Elliott in his right position, you might actually see a better Elliott instead of putting him right centre midfield and then wondering why he can't play there. Put him right midfield, or right wing, sorry, you never know kind of thing. But Yeah, it's just one of those ones. Play the players, play them for a while, you'll see results. If not, you're going to start seeing some of these jammy kind of performances.
No worries.
All I'm asking him is to improve.
Your
That's
mic
it.
was
Yeah.
going a bit in and out there, mate. Your mic was going in a bit in and out, but we heard you.
Sorry, I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
Can I just take you back to Elliott just real quick before we move on?
Yeah, go on, Ben. Go on.
Yeah, him and Jones, to be fair, I'll summarise on both and what I feel. I think that we were at our best when we knew what the midfield was. Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Henderson, and it didn't change. They were all absolutely sensational at what they did in their own right.
Yeah.
And now we don't really know what's going on with the midfield. And especially for next season with the Europa League, which can potentially be more games if we finish second in the group or whatever. I don't need Elliott and Jones to be world class. I don't need them to be the next Bellinghams. I don't need them to be first team players, which I'm sure isn't the plan anyway. I just need them to be a good enough squad players for when the time comes for them to come in the team. They're ready. They're at that level.
But Ben, do you want them to improve though, bro, as players, or you guys just settled for what they do?
Improve. And this is what I was going to say about the Europa League. Jerry mentioned Saka earlier, and I remember Saka made his name in that competition, playing for Arsenal when he was wearing like number 80 something, 87 I think it was. And I'm not saying that Elliott and Elliott and Jones and Ben Doak are going to go on to be that level. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, if you give them all the group stage games, which should be no problem whatsoever, looking at, with all due respect, some of those teams that are in that next season, we shouldn't have any issues doing that. We still have chances to give them games and to help them grow. And for me, I've got a soft spot for Elliott. I don't know why. You know, those players you just like. I like the kid. I think his work ethic is good. I was at the game on the Sunday, and when he came on, he worked the hardest out of any of them. And people would tell me, "Oh, it's just Southampton. Oh, you're telling me he just does it against Southampton." Well, the guys that were starting the game never did that. Fabinho was absolutely shocking. Henderson comes on, gives an assist to a Southampton goal. So it's like when Elliott came on, I feel like for me, where I was sat in the stadium, like that's when we actually started to look all right down that right hand side. I don't know how anybody else saw it. For the goal, he flicks it up to Trent, who smacks it across the Gakpo, and he was tackling, he was going in for interceptions and all of those things. And I get why people don't think Harvey's good enough to start for us. I don't want him to start for us, but I do feel like the criticism could be a little harsh. I think he's still got a role to play at some point.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah, look, I've gone.
Jamie, can you hear me? Is it clear enough?
Yeah. Before it sounded like your microphone was covered and that, or you was underwater.
Sound like you're in a fishbowl or something.
Yeah.
I just changed it. Now.
Elliott kind of sits where I think Hens talked about it recently. What you see with your eyes and what you see with the data, because what you see with your eyes with Elliott is loads of hard work, loads of endeavour, but then when you look at the data, it's just crap.
Wow. Freaking hell. Wow.
Okay. Thankfully, we don't play with data. So. But look, Harvey Elliott's always been one of them players that I actually really like Ben, and I want him to do well. At this moment in time, I think he's confused in what his position is when he plays, because he hasn't got that defensive intelligence or mindset to play in a Klopp midfield for me. You know, you've got to be a 6 and an 8 in a Klopp midfield, don't you? And have that defensive mindset, and I don't think Harvey has that. Harvey is an attacking player, and as Jerry said earlier, when you put Harvey in an attacking position, where that's where he's got to play, he does flourish and look like a decent player. You know, I remember him in pre-season when he was playing in the right wing area, and he looked really good. In a few games against Wolves, and I think the 2 games against Wolves actually, was it the FA Cup games, that he actually looked really good in, because he played in them right wing areas. And you know, that's where he plays. Unfortunately, he's arguably one of the best right wingers in world football playing in front of him there. He's never going to play, and Mo don't get rested or dropped. And is Mo really going to worry about Harvey Elliott being his second choice?
No.
Probably not. So it's probably where Liverpool do need to upgrade. But look, let's talk about, before we go on the player ratings, let's talk about some positives. There must be some positives in this season.
7-0, come on, let's have it.
Is it the 7? It's the 7-0 against.
Be.
I know we finished below Man United. The Man United fans make a joke of it, but if it was the other way around, United fans would talk about it as well. So
I've
Think your
got some
answer
good
was 7-0.
positives. I've got some
Go
good
for it.
positives. Okay.
Go on then. Go for it. Go for your positive.
Gakpo is a massive positive. He
Yeah.
is a brilliant player.
Signing
Okay.
of the season.
He works in a system. He does his own things. You know, he's quite flexible as well. I think he's going to be a really, really good player for us.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
how good has Konate been? I mean, my God, we have got quite possibly the world's greatest defender for the next 5 or 6 years.
Do you know what?
If we keep him fit.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm 50-50 on Konate.
I was going to ask you, K-Mac, yeah. You see, when it comes to Konate, yeah.
I'm not that positive on him yet.
Do you think that in this role that he's been asked to play, do you think that is a wise decision to put him as the right centre back? Do you think he's been good in that role, basically? I'm not questioning Konate. I think Konate is good, but at the end of the day, it's all about roles and what they're asked to do. Do you think him in that right centre back role is good, effectively?
It's gonna injure him. It's gonna injure him. He's gonna get injured more. I actually think he's better on the left.
He is, yeah.
I think he's absolutely phenomenal on the left, but he's never going to move Virg. So why not just play Virg in the centre and have him as the third left-sided centre back, which is where we've got Andy Robinson.
But then you have the exact same problem that you have with him on the right, which is he can't play ball, so we need someone to play ball. He's good. For me, I looked at it and I thought, as soon as you just said that, I said, wouldn't it make more sense to put him in the centre though? Because he's good at what you want him to be, which is he is so good at being a defender. Like, if I need someone last man, I will probably call upon someone like Konate. But if you ask me to start telling him to defend out wide and, you know, I need you to start playing football out wide, we all know that that's not his strongest area. I think we can all agree with that.
I agree. Yeah, that could work as well. Absolutely.
And that's why I think that's why we're linked with so many. I feel like we're being linked with more right centre backs or players who could play centre back / right backs than we are left back / left centre backs kind of thing. Like, I feel like that might be an area because maybe Virgil's not going to be here forever. You move Konate into the middle. He is the long term, 100%. He's the one I wouldn't mind in the middle. And then you get your ball playing right centre back and your ball playing left centre backs. And I think you can cook. You know, with Konate at the heart, you know, of the defence, where you just get him marshalling that defence in the middle instead of saying, yeah, I need you to go out wide, start trying to defend out there. But not only do you need to defend out there, I also need you to be comfortable on the ball. I need you to, you know, dribble every now and again. You know, that's just not his strong suit, which is fine because not every defender needs to be a ball playing defender. But just in this role for us moving forward, that's why I'm wondering, what does everyone think? Do you think that maybe we get another right centre back and then Konate maybe has to potentially fight with Virg or fight with someone else? I don't know what everyone thinks about that.
I think Konate is for the long term. Liverpool got Konate.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think they're looking at Konate as sort of a player for tomorrow, not just for today. That's why last season, you know, Matip played the Premier League games, Konate played the Champions League games. They're bleeding him slowly, and then this season, I think it was meant to be the same, but Matip and Gomez are crap. And then and he had no choice but to play Konate. And look, I think Konate, in the years to come, I think he's going to be exceptional, one of the best defenders in the world, in my opinion. But right now, I'm just a bit 50-50 on him because I don't think he suits the right-hand side of a back two with Van Dijk on the left. I think Konate on the left will be a much better player and more comfortable. He seems a little uneasy at the moment when I see him.
Jamie, don't you think it's because Trent is playing inverted right back? Do you think this is why he's performing the way he is? Last season, nobody was saying that when we played four at the back. I mean, so it's just.
Last season he wasn't being asked to do what he's being asked. That's why I say, why do you think, like, when you're looking at someone like Konate, why is he like, when we use this formation and we're saying Trent inverted? Why do we have to have Trent inverted? Either just play him in the midfield and just keep him there, or you actually just have, because Jamie just said it there, we're defending with two at the back more often than not when Robbo is doing whatever the hell he's doing on that left-hand side. So we're always left with two at the back. So then that causes an issue because then Konate and Van Dijk, as again, I'm not dismissing, they are very, very good players. I don't want anyone to think I don't think they are. They're very good at what they can do. but you can see that they're not as comfortable when it comes to going out to the. Van Dijk obviously is, he can kind of defend out wide, but Konate, I'm like, when you get asked to go out wide, it's like you just become rash. It's like a deer in the headlights. Like all of a sudden, it's like I don't.
He wants to win his battles. He wants to.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
All the time. And we saw it against Aston Villa, as Ben just said. Ollie Watkins, for me, had him on ropes. As soon as he pulled him out wide, that was it. That was it.
That's
you know what I mean?
Will do against him because that's what he does. That's like his Achilles heel. He likes to win the battles. We talked about this before, though. Klopp and his flexibility. This is the formation he's going to play next season. Trent isn't going to go into midfield. He's going to stay in that position.
We said that already, yeah.
He's already said it.
No, I agree. The thing is, I agree. That's the worst thing about it. I have to agree.
Should
a couple of hamstrings next season.
Should Liverpool just play a 3 at the back? Should Liverpool just play a 3 at the back? Because we got the players for it, and all this bollocks about no one wins anything playing 3 at the back. That's just rubbish. Because when the Man City play 3 at the back most of the time, we got the players for it. I always look at it. Trent as a right wing back would be excellent. You know, as a right wing back, 'cause it's different. Like I look at Reece James for Chelsea when he's actually fit. That man's got issues. But when he's actually fit, Reece James is awful at a right back role in a 4-4-2 because he is defensively naive as well. People just gloss over it. But when you put Reece James as a right wing back, he looks like a completely different player in a back 3. I think Trent as a right wing back with a back 3 will be a tremendous, just as good or as good as anything in European football as a wing back. You got. Because if you look at we're looking at a centre back, and like G said, we're looking at a right-sided centre back. Yeah, Konate's the right-sided centre back, so we're obviously looking at someone who can cover that right centre back area. That's why they're looking at. That's why there's been a lot of links to Timber because he can play in them 2 areas of the pitch. So if Liverpool are trying to transition to a back 3, I can see that being the answer. But like everyone's saying, though, I think Klopp has made a statement saying that he wanted to bring this system we're playing now into next season, but he brought it in early to give the players a lift or something like that to try it out. So it looks like we're going to stay that way. Any other positives, guys, apart from the 7-0?
The Man City 1-0.
Man City 1-0. Because we played. When you ask about playing a different style, that is a game we played a different way.
Yeah. Jamie, don't make me watch that game back. If I have to watch that game back, I watch that Spurs game back, then it's going to get political.
You'll have G on mute for like 20 minutes.
I watched that Tottenham game back, and I was looking at it, and I'm telling you, it was 4-3-3 with Firmino just dropping in. There was no change in.
Your eyes
what I mean by the City game is that we played a different system, not formation.
No. You know what? The City game, I'll see.
Yeah, we sat back, defended well, low block, got closer to play counter-attacking football, and it won us the game. And then Klopp decided to open up the game. It's crazy.
So then, in a thing like that, just before you go, sorry, if we can do that, for example, and if Klopp can see that, then what was the issue in other games? That was, I think, the frustration for a lot of fans is that if you can do that for Manchester City game, because you knew they play better football, they're going to have the ball, you know, it's going to be, the onus is going to be more on them, even though we're at home, it's going to be on them because they're the better team. But you set up in a way that would frustrate them. Why is it then we never necessarily did that against, like, you know, other teams? Like, why did we just kind of keep persisting with, you know, the same kind of thing?
Can I just say before you go, Jamie, real quick, one last positive right there. I want to make sure we talk about this kid, Stefan. For me, I know people say, you know, we should have this kid came into the team when we were absolutely on our knees for midfielders. He never looked out of place. He played way better than our midfielders that have been at the club for 5-6 years. And when he was injured for the season, when that news came out, I was absolutely gutted for him because he just looked like he fitted in. And we have a serious player on our hands and stuff. And people will downplay him because he's a Liverpool youngster, and that's fine. Even our own fans will probably do it. But I'm telling you, we've got a serious midfielder there.
Yeah, I agree. Stefan is a player that I hope he's got a bright future. And I think we got a bit lucky with Stefan this season because, like a lot of people have said, he weren't in the plans. He came in because of injuries, and then
he didn't have a squad number.
No, and then you see him, play. Look, sometimes managers get lucky.
He was a centre back as well, wasn't he originally?
Yeah,
he was a
very good player.
Yeah,
right. It's to think that he was a centre back.
No, he is actually a centre back,
and he's actually bigger than I thought. I thought he was tiny, and then I remember Enzo was telling me, "No, Jay, he's 6 foot." I went, "No, that kid is not 6 foot," and he is. But
is he 6 foot?
Yeah.
He's taller than me. You're on end. You're mute.
Have you seen how skinny his legs are, though? That scares me.
Because he's got limbs for days, bro. He's like one of them little aliens.
That's it.
Stefan's 6 foot. He just don't look it, does he? He looks tiny, but he's actually
lanky. Impossible, man. That's impossible.
Right, he's taller than me. Right,
no,
6 foot.
You that short, bro?
Have you seen Stefan?
First and foremost, the short is a very vulgar term to use. I don't think the word short is appropriate in this manner. Ask Jerry. Do you think, Jerry, if you saw me, would you think I look short? Like I don't look short. You know what? This ain't about my height anyway, man.
Don't worry. I'm short, man. I'm only 5'8". I'm tiny.
Okay, I'm taller than that. That is just for anyone who's got.
I'm yeah, I'm only 5'8".
So he's 185 in it, and he's apparently 6'1".
Yeah.
6'1". So I'll be looking. So I'm going to be looking up at Badgerton. Nah, that's crazy.
I don't know if you can trust Wikipedia, bro, but apparently.
No, what I see. Go back and watch the games and see Stefan stand next to Jordan.
Bro, he's the
same
lanky.
height. They're the same height.
Yeah, he's lanky. Yeah.
Nah, pre-season, I'm gonna go to a game because I need to see this for myself. No way.
Hey, don't stand too
close. I can't be standing next to Badgerton and he's taller than me. That's crazy.
Jamie, couple more positives.
Yeah.
Couple more positives. Oxford's going on a free transfer. Naby Keita's going on a free transfer.
Naby's a big
Milner's going on a free transfer.
Are they positives though, or should they have been sold 2 years ago? You know what I mean? That's the right player
I
ratings,
miss Naby
guys.
personally, but I'll probably speak for myself.
Yeah,
I'm
I
with
think you might.
bro.
There's two of you. Right, let's do the tier list of the players this season, guys. As you can see, the tier list goes from Adrian, who is the worst. That's number 1. Then we got Dog Turd, overrated, not quite Alisson, and then we got Alisson at the top, guys. So
this should be relatively easy, I'd imagine.
Let's go real quick. Let's talk about the man himself, Ali.
He's going.
Just put him on the top. That's it.
Top, isn't it? Yeah.
Right, quick comments on that.
Can you have better than Alisson?
Where would we be without him, Jamie? That's just
that's a question. Yeah.
Where does everyone rank him on the panel in world goalkeepers?
number one.
Number one, man.
Best.
Jerry?
He's in a league of his own.
I don't know.
Bruv, come on, man.
Really, Jerry?
I like this
Jerry talk.
work,
Next,
man.
Jamie,
like,
next.
Couple times.
Wait, Jerry, who would you have above him?
Jerry, who's above him there? Yeah.
Let Jerry talk, guys.
Courtois for me is above him.
Would you say it's him and Courtois?
Yeah.
I'm not.
100%. I think you're splitting hairs.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think you're splitting hairs, but I think when I couple that, I think I have to couple it with how well the team's done as well. And I know we've been dog shit, but remember, Mignolet was great for Sunderland when they're getting peppered all the time. De Gea has been great for when they're getting peppered, and I'm not putting them in the same bracket. I think he is number 2, and I think if Liverpool were doing well, I'd probably put him above Courtois. But the last 2 seasons, I mean, he's been like the pin, like he's been a rock for them, and he's enabled them to go and almost do the double again.
Well, they were shit this season, bro. So where was he this season when they needed him?
I will say.
Courtois, where was he this season?
There's only one goalkeeper in the Premier League in my era that's better than Alisson, and that's probably Peter Cech for me. Alisson is that good. He
makes goalkeeping look too easy.
Ooh, I don't know, boy. Edwin van der Sars. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple keepers in there. Like, there's a couple. I'm not saying they're better, by the way. I'm not saying it.
Van der Sars was a quality goalkeeper. Yeah, look, Alisson's definitely better than Ramsdale, Arsenal fans. So please never use that.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Ramsdale.
Right, let's go to Trent. This should be an interesting one.
What's the
I say not quite. Alisson.
Not quite. Yeah.
Not quite Alisson.
Yeah, I
What do we
think once we
reckon?
put him in a position where we could get the best out of him, we start.
What are we
Because
rating him on?
he's
Are we
mad.
rating him on playing in midfield, or are we rating him on playing as right
Just
back?
rating him as
So,
his
I-
whole-
I-
Is it
listen,
overall
like-
the season, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
because I
rating
think
season.
you guys are gonna do this crazy thing and don't rate him as a right back when we won every trophy with him at right back.
Yes,
when
exactly.
seasoned about losing
Season,
games.
though. It's
And-
this
No, but
season.
Ends, we're
the
talking about
Sunday
him
Cup.
this season. This season.
This season, yeah.
Forget what he did last
Okay,
season.
cool. So
This
I'm
season.
rating him based on the position he played because the whole team was shit. So if you're gonna just be
I'm rating
rating
him
him
top tier then.
and say it's his fault, then that's crazy.
I'm rating him.
No,
top
I
tier.
ain't even dismissing what you said. I'm just saying I'm not even going to speak about him from last season or the season before.
Okay, he got 9 assists. Is he finished on 9 assists now in the Prem? The top
Yeah,
guy
only
finished on
Salah got.
16.
Yeah, only Salah got more. Yeah, only Salah got more. So.
Yeah, and then
Is
the
that an
top guy-
achievement though? When
Of
we're
course it
talking,
is, bro. One plays in midfield.
so you just said he got only Salah got. Sorry, Jamie just said only Salah's got more. Who else is going to get more? Who else? Like name
but
another
that's-
player
But that's
in the
not
team.
the point about who's going to get more. It's the point that he got them numbers. And if we're going to say he's been shit, cool, fair enough, great point. He's still got 9 assists from right back, if that's what we're saying.
But we know he didn't get 9 assists from right back though.
You got 5
He's
assists from
still
them.
classed
from
as a
midfield.
right back
goals as well.
on his
Guys,
list.
guys, I've got some breaking news. Liverpool are apparently going to make a bid for Kone.
Manu Kone,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's going to come out. Look, with the Trent stuff, Big George has come in and we're making deals. See, look what happens.
Fucking mate, he's
Didn't he just say he didn't have a budget recently? How are they making bids
When
before?
did he
when he
say
gets
this
on
when
the
he came
budget?
in today, bro? When did he have this conversation but he didn't have a budget?
Guys, all you need to know
That's
about
what he said today.
all you need to know about this new guy coming in is Klopp goes to music concerts with him. Okay, that's all you need to know. They're mates. You just hired his mate.
Yeah, mate.
I think we just got to wait on the summer and
It's
see.
not
how
quite
it does.
Alisson. Is that an 8 out of 10 for the season? What does not quite Alisson? What does that signify?
Yeah, that's because it's the thing. I don't know what's the number. Like,
Jerry,
Right,
that looks too high.
I rate
So,
him too
like,
highly to be giving handouts. Like I can't be
Adrian-
giving him 8 out of 10s.
So Adrian is like the worst of the worst, yeah, like 1
it's
to
Trent.
2, 2 to 3, like, and then like 4 to 6, and then 7 to 9, and then best.
Okay, not quite Alisson for me then. All right, there you go, Ends.
Overrated.
Listen, at least you know he's.
yeah, I'll keep him overrated. Like, I'll leave it.
Because I
Right,
think with
I-
Trent, we saw, and in this run to top 4, and I know we didn't get it this season, but we've had two chances now in the last few seasons where we've had to go almost perfect to get top 4. Both times when we've turned it around, he's been pivotal.
Big up, man.
Look, our best run of the season came when Trent's position changed and was arguably our best player for the last 11 games. So,
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
Yeah, I think not quite Alisson,
right.
yeah.
Hands up for not
But
quite Alisson.
11 games over what's that, 20? I mean, the ratio is not really ratioing now, like, because you're saying 11 games to the 20 that he was crap. Like, I don't
Okay.
know, like,
G, your stats, man. How many chances did he create? And how many times did we were complaining at the start of the season when Mo couldn't score and Darwin couldn't score?
no, but
He's
we've
up there
never
in
had a
terms of
problem
chance
scoring.
creation, bro.
No, but we don't have a problem scoring goals. I think we're the 3rd top goal scorer in the
Nah,
league, so I don't
bro.
care about the chances that he created.
Ends, we
He's got
scored
nothing
more
to do.
goals this season than we
I
did
don't
last
care.
season.
I don't care about
So,
that. I'm talking
you know,
about-
I didn't know that. I
don't
didn't
care
even know
about
that.
My conversation or my argument is how many chances did he create for our players that didn't score? And because they didn't score, he has low amount of assists. It would be a different conversation if these guys put in the tap-ins he was giving them.
Ends, but okay, cool. So we're going to talk about the stats. It's like what you said yesterday on the show,
I'm just
and
using
where
it to back
where
the argument, bro. You man like the
no. I'm just about to agree. It's where we're using the stats. I don't care if he went for the rest of the season. I don't know what number he was on prior to this run. So I think he was on 1 or 2. I can't remember how many assists he got. If he stayed on that for the rest of the season, but put in the performances, I wouldn't care because it for me, I'm not looking at whether you get the assist or don't get the assist. That wasn't the issue with you. We know what you're about. We know what you're good at. It was the sheer fact that your performances wasn't really up to scratch. If his performances were fine and he wasn't getting the assist, I can promise you now, no one's getting onto Trent like that. Yes, you'll get onto him maybe because he's not getting the assists or what's going on. Then we can start using the stats to then say, yo, he's creating chances. Now I can sit here and say, yo, man, he's creating I don't even know how many chances created this season, and we're not scoring goals. But when your performances are just poor, it's the Mo Salah situation. It's like now you're just stat padding. Now you're just stat padding for the sake of stat padding.
I feel sorry for Trent though, because I said it earlier. We played well when Henderson was the right centre mid and then also when you take that out of Trent and nobody is covering and sitting for him when he bombs forward, you're almost asking him to do a million things at once. Do you either want him to go forward and get assists, or do you want him to defend? I don't think you can do both.
Agree.
I
agree.
I feel sorry for Trent. He's not had, and I'm not saying that someone needs to babysit him, but when he was at his absolute best, we did have that support for him, and we haven't had that this season. But that doesn't take away his performances.
What 27 clear-cut chance creation this season.
How many?
27.
27.
Wow.
Well, what we'll do, I'm going to leave him where he is right now because there's going to be more players who are coming in, and if you think he should go up, we'll move him up. All right.
Vote, Jamie. We'll keep him there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Let's go with an easy one.
Adrian, mate, all the way.
Jordan Henderson.
Adrian.
Is it Dog Turd or Adrian? Where we
Adrian. My God,
Adrian,
it's been so bad.
Awful.
You know, are so deep to the captain.
No, the guys that said Adrian, yeah, can you guys just explain why, please? I just need to understand.
I don't know why.
It's
I wouldn't
crap.
put him at
No.
Even this season, man.
Two men say it. I just need the example.
Yeah, but Ents, what has he done this season to even
Don't
go
ask me
above
the question,
Adrian?
bro. You said he's Adrian.
He's
tell me
done
why
nothing
he's
this season. He's done nothing this season, bro. He's done nothing but mistakes this season. He hasn't led the team well this season. He hasn't contributed anything that's positive this season. You know what I mean? That's how I see it when I'm looking at Henderson. And I'm one of the biggest fans of Henderson. I used to protect that guy, but now it looks like it's coming to the end, man. It's coming to the end, in my opinion. It's just not good enough anymore, man. You got to be realistic here. I mean, if we keep these type of players and then we defend them to the hilt, what's the point, like, trying to get better players? I mean, yeah, it's time to go, man. It's done out here.
I mean, all you need to say about Henderson is he actually managed to piss off two of the most placid players in the Premier League, in Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. Like, those guys are such nice people, and he managed to piss both of them off to have arguments with them. He's an absolute dick.
That's a bit hard. I don't go that far, guys. I'm not going that far.
Wait, who did?
That's a bit hardcore.
Henderson slapped his mum, bro. What's going on?
bro, real talk. That's what I think. Yeah, with Henderson, yeah, it's one of them ones. It's a part of we're frustrated as fans because the reality is the team has been so shit, and he's obviously playing a lot of games. It's almost like the Milner thing. Like, why do you keep bringing this guy on? But ultimately, Adrian, I don't know what that number would equate to, but it would be like between Adrian and
1 and 2. 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2.
I would probably put him at dog turd at probably the lowest, like, kind of thing. Because I would say, because there has been games where he has actually played all right. Like, let's put it this way. Like, between him and Fabinho, boy, that it's going to be a toss-up between who's been worse off. And people are probably going to say that Henderson's been a lot worse.
It's not a toss-up. Fabinho's been garbage.
No. We on the panel might say that, but I know fans are gonna they're reactionary, so they're gonna look at it and they're gonna get onto Henderson. I'm not getting onto Henderson like that.
I'm not really mad.
Yeah, but gee, what has he done this season, bro? Like, for him not even to be in Adrian. Sorry.
One at a time. I think Ben was going to say something. Go on.
I was just gonna say I'm not really mad where he goes. He doesn't deserve to go any higher. He's probably been one of our worst performers, if we're being honest. So I don't think it's that deep where he goes, to be honest with it.
Right, let's leave him in dog. Let's leave him in dog for a second.
Yeah. Always adjust it.
It's the names, Jamie, man. You're disrespecting them with the names, bro.
I know.
G, at the same time, we're the one voting on it still.
Yeah.
The record show, I didn't put
right. This should be interesting. Let's talk about this man. Darwin.
Try to get all of the technicality.
Darwin Núñez.
Not quite Alisson for me.
Woohoo, that's high.
What?
Yeah, and speak on it, man, because I need to understand this one. I need you to explain it.
Second top goal scorer at the club in a meaty season, bro. What do you want me to do? What else do you want me to say? When we needed a player to stand up, he was the only one standing up. And listen, the fan base can say what they want, because before Gakpo come in, we were ranting and raving. If Darwin doesn't play, we look shit. And then as soon as we got something that looks a bit more shiny, we're like, nah, let's throw this guy away like he never played good games.
That's your point.
Nah, come on, man. Let's not do that, bro.
So who do you think's had a better season, Darwin Núñez or Gakpo, in your opinion?
If you're looking, it depends on what.
No, ends. I want ends, and he ends.
Okay, no, but I'm saying it depends on what you're looking for, right? Because if you're
no, you specifically, who do you think has had a better season?
You're not on the fence here, ends.
Núñez, in my opinion.
No, and that's all I wanted to know. It's just who you thought had a better season.
Yeah, because I think
I know ends is always talking about Núñez.
The Gakpo helped the overall team, but we didn't do enough to help Núñez as a team.
That's because he
I
can't
agree
play
with
in
that.
a
I
team.
definitely agree with that. I definitely.
That's because he can't play in a team.
No, he can play in a team, bro.
No, he can't because he's a child.
A man didn't score 32 goals last season, and you're trying to tell me that he can't come into a team and score.
He played up front on
He
his
was
own.
depleted. No one was creating apart from Trent, as we saw. Yeah. And the whole team wasn't playing as a team. And we brought this guy in to go and do wonders. He's still managing to score 15 or what is it, 15 GA, whatever you want to call it. He still managed to do something in the season where we were shit. So what do you want him to do?
Has Darwin had a better season than Trent?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus, you're splitting hairs, boy. Probably.
No, it depends on what you want. Is it from an output position? Yeah.
No.
This is a difficult one. Right.
Yeah,
and is recency bias coming into the play because we're all just thinking about Trent in his last few games? Like,
okay.
Right.
Can I have a little say on Núñez? Can I have a little say on Núñez?
Go on.
Okay. We signed Núñez, as a striker. Yeah, we chuck him on the left wing. He's not a left winger. Okay, he may have played for Benfica against us on the left wing, but that was probably a tactical thing. Okay, he scored all those goals on the left wing. On when he was up front on his own. Okay, he tactically does not fit our team. He doesn't track back. He can't head the ball. He can't mark.
That's harsh, man. You can't head the ball. I can't. What?
Head the ball.
And he scored a couple of headers as
well. I don't know what you've been watching, Cam. Oh, bro.
You need to look at about 7 goals.
Bro,
man. There was even one game.
He can't run back.
Run past the defenders and won a ball. What are we talking about here?
Liverpool.
The only thing, and this sounds absolutely crazy that I'm about to say, because he's a striker, but the only thing he struggled with is putting the ball in the back of the net, in my opinion. He's had so many chances.
Yes.
And he scores the harder ones, and that's my worry with him. Like, when he has time, when he has space, he'll miss it. But then when he has to just quickly shoot, he'll score.
Right, I'm going to leave him in overrated for now. I'm going to leave him in overrated for now.
He had 85 shots this season and 24 were on target. Okay, sorry.
Hey, Mike, would you be more worried if he didn't have the shots, though?
Oh, I'll be
right.
He didn't score any of the goals.
Let's go on to Fabinho. Has Fabinho been better or worse than Hendo?
Adrian.
No, I think, in my opinion, he's had better performances than Hendo as all season.
Agree.
100%.
I'm going to speak on the Fabinho thing right now. So, I have been talking about Fabinho even last season that he was on a decline. This season he's been god awful. Then in the last few weeks, he started to look a lot better when Trent came inverted, and everyone started to say, "Oh, he's all right now. He just needed a rest. He's getting back to his best now." But if you watch them games back, everyone we played, they played like we played in front of them. Really, they didn't put no press on our midfield. Then the last 2 games, especially against Aston Villa, where Villa pressed our midfield, Fabinho was nowhere to be seen. He got run ragged. And then the Southampton game, oh my word, he tried to kick Tchouaméni and he couldn't even touch his leg.
Yeah, but we're talking about moments in the game, though, Jamie, bro. Because
I think the team as a whole was crap against Southampton. It's just not him.
I don't think Fabinho's got a future at our football club and should be sold.
I think he should be sold.
I agree with you.
I
disagree with you, Jamie, but I actually do want Fabinho.
I don't know what he does anymore. Why we keep him.
He covers for Henderson too much, and it's killed him. It's just killed him. Henderson's been.
I don't think Liverpool are going to sell Fabinho. I think he's going to start as the DM next season. I think he'll just go back into that position. I don't see him being sold.
They'll have a much better season if Hendo's not there. Trust me.
Well, that ain't going to happen because Hendo's going to play next season as well.
I don't think so.
Nah.
I mean,
You actually
Hendo-
have people that can run. There's have to
Like-
run all the time.
Hendo played, 50 games this year? I just don't know if he's going to not play.
Swear. Okay, no.
Wow.
I just don't know. Look, Fabinho, I just think he's done. I think he's done at the top level for Liverpool. I really do. I think the amount of football he's played, it's just now got to him, and I don't know if he can ever get it back.
Do you know
I
why-
don't want my defensive midfielder to be carried. Rodri's not carried at City. No, I don't want my defensive midfielder only to look good because he's been carried. He's not.
But
a
is that
water boy.
because?
He's
But
not
is
a
that
water boy.
because of the way that we play? Because, for example, we play with Fabinho almost being the kind of the breakup kind of player, ball winning kind of midfielder, and obviously he's got enough technical ability to maybe pick up a pass every now and again. Rodri isn't there to ball win necessarily. Rodri's really there to kind of intercept passes, and he's got the technical ability of like a normal central, top central midfielder. So the roles that they're being asked to play are so different. So in that system, if Rodri was potentially in this system, he might look, not saying he's going to look as bad as Fabinho, but he might look bad anyway, just because of the sheer fact that he's had to play this way for the last 4 or 5 seasons. I think maybe we got to remember how we're rating these players, but then also when we're talking about we want this guy to leave and that guy to leave, we also got to remember realistically, leave and do what? Like if they leave, who's coming in? Do you know what I mean? We're not going to go out and sign we're not going to sign and potentially DM like who's just going to come in, so to speak, when we still got Bajcetic, we still got Tyler Morton, you still got Fabinho who's still there. You mentioned it before with all these players. Where does all of these new guys kind of come in?
But
Unless players
if you look at who?
That's the only DM we're linked with is Lavia. No DMs we've been linked with.
Didn't we say Kone? What's going on?
Kone and Thuram are 2 defensive.
Don't give me this Lavia shit.
Can I just say on Fabinho as well? Like, I do feel sorry for him in some sense, because the only midfielder we've signed, unless you count Arthur, which I won't because he's a hologram, we've just abandoned him, and we've never strengthened. We've never.
I agree.
100%. 100%.
Hung him out to dry. And Fabinho, by the way, guys, he's only 29. He shouldn't be at this stage of his career yet.
I want to see proof.
So they said that he's 29. The way they want about,
Ben, I need to see proof that he's 29. But I agree with you. That's my problem with Fabinho. I don't know if he can go back to being the old Fabinho next season because how tired he is. So if you've got a really tired defensive midfielder who can't read the game as well as he can, and then hasn't got the mobility to catch up with his own brain to read the game, then what is the point of him being your number 1 DM? You've got to move him on eventually. Why we can't be this club who continuously stack piles midfielders and defenders that are no good to us anymore, and just keep them signed on, because everyone wants this midfield overhaul at this football club. If you keep all these players, where are you going to put them all?
We're not talking about a 32-year-old, 33-year-old. We're talking about a 29-year-old.
Yeah, but he's dead at 29. That's the issue.
But Jamie, but isn't the right thing to do is buy the personnel around him that's going to support him in that midfield next season for consistency purpose? If we haven't got no consistency, this is the performance you're going to get out of him, isn't it? So if we get consistency around him, maybe he will perform better.
To be honest, to be fair, I was saying this last season about Fabinho, so it's not just a reaction thing.
He's definitely dropped off. He's definitely nowhere near the level of where he was before.
And that's my worry.
He's 29 though. Like, for him, if he is dead, I agree with you. If he is, if you get to January and he's still performing this poorly, bro, then you have to go. Like, I don't even want to see you here anymore. Of course,
Did we
I feel like it's going to be a catch-22.
And he was dead. Then is that what we're saying?
I thought he was terrible last season.
So
I definitely thought he underperformed.
He's dead.
Yeah, I thought
again, don't let the performance, the winning games.
Because I know it takes 11 men to try and win a football game, bro. And if you're carrying a man in the game, you ain't getting to four finals.
I agree with Enz.
100%.
I don't know, bro.
He's been carrying our midfield for years now.
But then we just use that same argument to say that you couldn't carry one man. So how is he one man carrying our midfield? That wouldn't make sense. if you
I
can't
don't
say
think
that
Henderson.
on the
You know,
flip
Ian
side,
Henderson every single time. And
You know
Trent
this.
every
You
single
know
time.
this midfield carry thing that Fabinho's carried it, right? People might not like to hear this, but you could argue that Henderson's carried the midfield. And the
Carried
reason I say that, is because Henderson covers for everybody in the midfield, and he also covered for Trent when we was our most successful. So you could argue that Hendo, and who's the two players that have gone off it this season? Fabinho and Hendo.
Both of them, yeah.
Because they're knackered, they can't do it no more. Hendo's going to be 33. We should be moving him on. He ain't going to be the player he once was.
No way.
Fabinho's going to be 30, I think, next month, or he's just turned 30, ain't he? So he's not going to be that player that he was anymore. If Liverpool want to get back to where they were, we have to start moving players on and getting new players in. But look, I agree with them two players have been completely overworked in our midfield for time, but yeah, they're both equally shit this year. Talking about shit.
Just
Virgil
about
van Dijk.
Not quite Alisson.
Where do we put Virgil? Where do we put Virgil this year?
I will be harsh with Virgil, to be fair, because when it comes to Virgil, I'm going to compare him to the standard I know he can play at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, for that reason, I think the end of that one that you've put him on.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I know that this guy is the best in the world.
Oh, your Wi-Fi.
I can't judge Virgil on Virgil. I'm going to judge Virgil on other central defenders in the league, and I think he's been brilliant. I just think last season there was no way he should have played that many games after coming back from an ACL. That's just terrible management, really is. So he's not quite Alisson for me.
Yeah, overrated. He can definitely do better. There's no doubt. Are we worried about Virgil at all, guys, or do you think he's just played too much football since his injury?
Too much
I think he's been exposed more than anything. That's what it is. If you got a solid line, if you got like a good foundation, if you got something stronger in front, then he can just focus on just the positioning, the off the ball things, you know what I mean, which makes him better. So personally, I think I'm not too worried about him. I do believe we do need to get in a defender to, kind of like just, show him the ropes, you know what I mean? Because Van Dijk's not going to be here forever. He's how old is he now? 31?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? If we don't improve in our midfield, it's going to be doing a lot more work here.
Christian Falk has just tweeted and said it's true that Liverpool are talking to Kone's representation right now. So this could be a transfer happening. Go on, Jerry.
Yeah,
Jerry, what do you got to say, man?
Virgil van Dijk, man, he's my guy from early, and I'm sorry to say, man, he's not going to be the same. He's not going to be the same because the confidence that he was playing with before, you can't get that back because now he's experienced what he's experienced. Now he's experienced the injury. Now he's experienced being out of form for such a long period of time. I'm going to be deadly honest. He had the best season I've ever seen from a centre-back. Best 18 months I've ever seen from a centre-back.
Yeah.
But I have not seen a centre-back drop off as much as him. A top centre-back. I just haven't seen it. I'm talking what Perisic done to him. I'm talking the ball going over his head, the organisation skills. At times he just seems mute on the pitch. When I was at the West Ham game against Liverpool West Ham at the London Stadium, and he was just mute in that game as well.
Yeah,
it's completely mute. Not like I heard Matip shouting. I heard Trent shouting at times. Virgil was just silent. And for me,
But JJ, with his skill set, do you not think that with him not really like pace? Obviously, we knew he was the quickest defender on the planet at one point, but do you not think he can adapt now because he's just incredible on the ball? And
he should do, but it worries me that he doesn't. It worries me that he doesn't get the ball and try find the front man with his pass, and he's always looking to play the safe pass sometimes, and especially when we're dominating the ball. I think Matip's been so important for us when we've had the ball because of his ability to step into midfield and open up gaps. And Virgil's, he's got the ability to do that, but he doesn't do that. And all he keeps doing is getting the ball. It's a simple 1-2 pass, and then he just kind of shifts his body weight and just smacks a 30-yarder. That used to work so well. Now teams have clocked onto it. So now you're seeing the ball go in there, and Salah's got 2 men around him, and he heads it back, and we start that whole process again. And yeah, it might work here and there, but I don't know. He's not. What Liverpool need right now is a character type of defender. What I mean by that is a one that's vocal. I'm not talking about ability. I'm talking about one that's organised and that's vocal, that's barking orders. Because when shit hits the fan, excuse my language, you need someone that's gonna like rally the troops, and he's not doing that.
Is that based off of one game though? Because
no, it's not based off one game. It's looking at the season. I have not gone and seen. You know what? We were poor in this game, but Virgil and everyone kept us in that game. You know, Virgil kept us
like the past.
Like
the past.
Virgil kept us in a lot of games this season, Jay.
So because he's not doing what you'd want him to do, that means he's not good enough.
Yeah, it means that he's not going to get to the level that he was, and that's what we require from him.
Because you're asking for him to step into midfield and don't do the switch, but he's always been that type of player. He's never once since being at Liverpool have been that player that picks the ball up, steps into midfield and finds that, that killer pass. He doesn't do that.
No,
he's the recycler in the defense.
But no, exactly, he's the recycler. But just as Ben said, if for whatever reason you're hindered in your ability to do something, you have to change it up. If you look at Ledley King was a right-footed centre back. Right-footed, proper explosive. What happened when his knees went? He just played with his left. Go watch the tapes. He just uses his left 90% of the time.
I don't understand what the expectation is, bro.
It's not a left footer.
No, but guys, what's your expectation? We're playing against 90% of the team, apart from the couple that want to play against us. Other than them, play low block all the time. So, what kind of passes do you expect him to play?
Well, no. We're saying we're playing 90% of the time. We're having no. Those passes, I've seen Matip go and play those passes direct in the front man. I know Virgil's the ability to go and do that, and that's a structural issue. I'm talking about something differently. But when we're talking from a defensive standpoint, I have not stayed and watched the game and been like, wow, you know what? Virgil kept us in that game along. Like, he organised that back line. If he's the man that's going to be last man, he needs to be organising that back line. And a lot of the time, we've relied on Matt Konate's individual defensive brilliance to go and get us out of positions. When Virgil just runs across or he does something just rash, and he's been all over the place. And I think for a centre back that's that good and that rate that high,
the biggest problem for Virgil.
That's asking for something that
Can I just ask you a quick question? Do you not, based on what you just said? So when we watch a Brentford game, it wasn't because of him and his leadership qualities, winning all those headers in terms of them bombarding us with set pieces. You wouldn't say he didn't have one of those games you're talking about.
No, that's a team effort. I saw a lot of the times that Fabinho even
that was
was decent.
No, that was Virgil's game.
I'm saying from a defensive standpoint. I don't even want to go and start talking about comparisons. But back in the day, I don't want to mention certain centre backs' names. But I've seen games where there's been teams where it's like, oh my god, this team has been garbage. But this back line, this unit was marshalled by this centre back, and that's the reason why they got a draw out of this game. We haven't been in, especially when the chips have been down. Virgil's not done that, and I think he's good enough to go and do that. I think asking Virgil to go and do that, I think he's too good to not have those expectations of him, because that's how highly I rate him.
Yeah.
If this was Lovren, I wouldn't care.
I've got one thing about Virgil. The whole left side of our team has been shite.
Yep.
We lost Mane, Robbo's dropped off a cliff, and we haven't had a midfielder on the left-hand side that's been any good. Okay? And we lost Diaz as well. So Virgil is literally, everything's dysfunctional on the left-hand side, and it's really, really knocked him, and it's really made him struggle this season. And it shows. But also, he played too much last season. He was never ready for this season. Like, he was never fit enough. You could tell that he was dealing with fitness issues, and he didn't want to go in for tackles. Like, I can't throw Virgil under the bus. I really can't. I think
it's not throwing him under the bus. It's holding him to a higher standard. I think what you're saying is fact.
Yeah.
Yes, he was injured. Yes, he shouldn't have. He's played too many games. But I could say that for every single player. That means we're letting every single player off the hook, because every single player. Why are we putting Henderson and Fabinho in dog turd then? Why are we putting Trent in that? Trent had no backup at right back. That's an argument that we can use for every player. Every player, and I understand he's been injured, but I'm holding him to that high level because for me, he's arguably the most important player that we've gone and signed.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Virgil still had a great season.
I agree, Jerry. Look, Virgil at his best, them few years when he first came to Liverpool was. I've not seen a centre back like that. I really haven't.
We won't see it again, Jamie.
He probably got robbed of the Ballon d'Or. He probably was the best player in the world at that time, but because he's a defender, you don't get the credentials of being the best player in the world at the time. But he was amazing. Look, he actually put a fear into attackers all over Europe. No, I remember. Do you remember when Lautaro Martinez had his head down and started running? Looked up at Virgil and stopped and played backwards because that's the aura Virgil had at the time.
This guy outpaced the likes of Adama Traore as well.
Yeah, he was a great look. I think he's just not been at his best this year, and the drop off is big because how good he was at his peak. So the drop off is always going to look worse because how good he was. It's like if my wife left me, she's never going to find anyone better in bed. It's going to be the drop off's going to be mad. You know what I mean? It's that good. It's that good. Jeez, mates. Right. Right, let's move on. Let's do some quick, easy ones. Gomez, shout, go.
Adrian.
Oh, can you have a lower one?
Right.
Actually, can you have a Gomez one?
Oh, a Gomez one. Who else? Milner.
Milner's Milner, isn't it, man?
7 out of 10 every time.
Has Milner actually done anything wrong this season?
Yeah, let's not do the whole look. I've watched Milner enough this season to know that he cannot play for a top team at all because you can just tell he can't keep up with these players.
Right, top team.
I said top team, so Man City, Liverpool, them kind of clubs. Yeah, well, we won't know until next season whether Brighton are a top team anyway. But in terms of James Milner, what he has given everybody, or what we've seen, is that he gives probably the most effort out of anyone. That's what you can say about Milner. But to say his performances at best have been a 6, and that's me being super kind to him. Other than that, we can't sit here and say he's had can anyone name a game where you were like, Jesus Christ, James Milner, that was a 10 out of 10 performance? Even just one game in the whole season.
Wasn't it Man City?
Man City at home when he played right back. Yeah, there you go.
I just say something about Milner. Does anyone actually believe that he wins that lactate test?
Yeah.
He can't run that fast.
Yeah. It's not about speed though, is it? It's about.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
not about speed. It's about keep going, ain't it? Everyone else drops out. He just keeps going, doesn't he? That's the thing. Bobby Firmino.
He goes in not quite Alisson.
He was brilliant this season.
Yeah, Bobby.
It's just the injury, isn't it?
Take injuries
when he was doing all right.
Take Bobby's injuries away. I thought he had a pretty good season to be fair. Yeah.
And he scored more goals than he's ever scored in a season this season as well.
Wow.
And he only played 20 games or something stupid.
But in 2018 he got over 20, didn't he?
I think it was goals to game ratio this season was his highest in.
Yeah, I was going to say that 17-18 season. I'm sure he
got 20. He got 20. He got 25 goals in all comps that season, didn't he? Stefan, what are we saying?
I'm sorry, I'm going to say overrated. I didn't think he was that good. He had some really bad games, but because he's young, we all just kind of overlook it. Overrated.
I don't think he's on the same level as a couple of those players, though. I think he's been better than Virgil.
I thought he did all right.
I agree with that. Okay. But then the sample size is a lot smaller than a Virgil.
Yeah, that's true.
That's tricky.
To be fair, has Virgil actually had a dog turd season? Let's be fair about this.
I don't
You're the one who named it dog turd.
Don't worry, listen, Jamie.
Wrong.
I've just gone back and looked at the defensive stats and even the passing stats. I did a G, bro, because the man were talking that this guy was dead.
Bro, sometimes you just got to do it.
No, listen, because I'm not the stats guy, innit? But I'm going to use stats against the panel because most men don't like the stats thing. So He made the most passes, the most blocks. Clearances was low. Aerial duels, he won the most. I don't know what else you want from a defender, bro. Like tackles, he was up there as well. And you know the craziest thing,
when you say up there, are you comparing him to just the players on the team? Because
no, I'm just comparing him to Liverpool players because that's who I can compare him to. I'm not comparing him to other players. And you know the other guy that we
but then it wouldn't be relative then.
Why? Because I'm comparing him to the players in our team, other defenders in our team. So if you're gonna say he's been shit, if anyone else goes above him.
Oh yeah, okay. If you're gonna say, I mean, I'm not placing anybody in defender wise.
Yeah, because it'll be crazy if I said the tackling thing. Because Paulina, he won the most tackles in the Premier League, so I can't say Virgil was the best at doing that. But the craziest part is the guy that's made the most tackles in our team is Fabinho.
That's
and then it's Trent.
That's even crazier.
In the Prem,
I didn't say Fabinho was
in the Prem or in
no, just in the Prem. I was just looking at the Premier Legue stats. Apparently, like Fab's won the most tackles in our team, and Trent is second, bro. It's mad.
I've oh, what's happened here? Where's he gone?
Bruno.
Right. I've changed it. I'll change it.
I keep it the same, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep it.
Yeah, keep it, Doctor.
Yeah, man.
Right. Just know certain man put a guy in dog
I
time.
think
If
the
he wasn't in the
overrated
team, he
one's a
wouldn't be
bit.
winning no
The
tackles.
title of that one's a bit harsh. 'Cause I don't think Stefan, from what I've seen, I don't think he's been overrated.
Right, give me a new name for overrated then. Go.
Middle of the park.
Meaty.
Average, maybe. Good. Decent.
I'll put good. There you go. Let's put good. Make it everyone happy. So that makes sense there. I think that makes sense. Yeah, there you go. Good, all in. Right.
But then, if we're saying that, I don't think Trent has been good this season. So then I'm just like,
Bro,
that doesn't mean
Oh, God. Gee.
That's what. No, but you hold on. Before everyone starts getting their knickers in the twist, you guys were the ones who wanted to change it. I was happy with the name that we had.
All right, but G, look,
I don't know why
everyone
we
said
changed.
cool. Jamie said good. We all said yeah, and then you.
Okay, you know what, Jamie? It's your stream. You change.
Right. Well. Right. Let's do Jota.
Again, he's been.
Has he been available a lot this season?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the
yeah.
thing.
When he has been available, he's been better in Hendo than Fabinho, ain't he?
100%.
100%, yeah.
But he's not been quite Bobby and Alisson. I think we can say that.
Yeah.
Man, if he hadn't scored goals, he'd be dog shit.
Hold on a second. When did Bobby get up there?
Bobby's game, the goal to game ratio has been excellent this year.
I thought he was doing it on performances.
Oh, then he's been the best performing attacker for Liverpool this season. That's an easy one. That's an easy. Of course, he's definitely outperformed all the other players.
I think when Bobby was fit, I think Bobby was excellent this season.
He was brilliant.
I mean, the three games
to make sure you guys are doing the right thing. That's all.
The three games right.
Who are we on now? Jota.
I'll say good.
Jota.
I'll say good.
Yeah, I'd say good.
Yeah.
Jota's been good. Right. Canate.
Not quite Alisson.
Alisson.
Where's Van Dijk? Oh, Van Dijk.
Has he been better than Van Dijk? Has Canate been better than Van Dijk this
This is what
season?
I'm waiting on. Let's see.
Right.
No, you just because look, he's been better than Van Dijk, but you couldn't put him in a level above. I wouldn't say he's been a level above a Van Dijk.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
He's just been a bit better than Van Dijk, but I wouldn't say.
Yeah, but I want Van Dijk at not quite Alisson.
Nah.
The thing is, though, it's going to be harsh because
I think Canate's been
probably
probably our third best player this season, behind Alisson and Salah. Like
He's played more for Liverpool this year than he ever has.
He's 23
It's hard to
years
judge
old.
players when you've actually had a shit season, you know. Jesus Christ.
23 years old, Canate.
What's
Had a
the
brilliant
centre-back
World Cup as
expert
well.
Jerry saying? Where are you putting him, Jerry?
Oh.
He's on mute.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Scott.
Still on mute.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah.
Canate, yeah.
This hay fever thing is crazy.
You know what? I'd put him in not
Analogy.
quite Alisson, man. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
put him there. Reason being is because he's been our best centre back in the defence. As I said, that I don't think's been organised. I think there's loads of factors that could have contributed to him being worse than he was. The DM being poor, the right back being poor in the large parts of this season. When he was at right back, Virgil not being at his best, and he's held his own, and he's actually been able to make a stake of claim as being our main centre back. I mean, going into the season, for me, it was Matip that was number one, and I've left the season now, like saying, yeah, Konate is going to have to be the number one now. So, yeah, I think I'd give it to him. I mean,
But are you putting man above Van Dijk, like a whole level above Van Dijk, like a whole level?
Yeah, there's a new level there now. So not quite Salah's the second level down.
Yeah, I'd put him a whole level above Van Dijk. I would.
Yeah, not quite Salah then. Not quite
I
Salah.
would.
Okay, yeah.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Should we go? Let's go Joel Matip. He's had a pretty poor season.
Doctor.
Dog
It's a
shit.
weird one, man.
I
He
actually
was
think
good,
he's
and
been
then he was
alright. I
poor
think he's been
with the
good.
whole. And then he got. Yeah, I don't know.
He just collapsed from playing good to just being bad.
Yeah, he did. He did, but then he picked it up a bit. But then Konate was playing weird. Like,
Yeah,
he
it's a weird one,
came in
isn't
against
it?
West Ham and then scored the goal. But he didn't obviously keep his place, and then Konate came back in. But he had a good game in that game. It's just tough. Yeah, I don't know.
For a 38 game season, I don't think he's been that good, has he?
Nah.
He's been dog shit.
Right, Cody Gakpo.
Oh, he's been decent. He's been
Not
decent.
quite Salah.
Is it not quite Salah or not quite Addison? Where we're putting him? Because
I'd
he's
say
only
not
been in
quite
since January.
Alisson. I think he's been
Not
better.
quite Alisson.
Yeah.
Is
He's
he
been
our
the second
signing
best
of the
forward for
season? Is he our signing of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, that's not hard when you sign Darwin Núñez and Fabio Carvalho. Like, I mean, the bar is not exactly the highest. No, but they were saying signing of the. No, obviously I hear it, signing of the season. But come on, like we signed not so good players, so the signing of the season was just anybody who showed some level of enthusiasm, and that's what he did. He's not quite Salah. That's his level of performances.
I think Cody's been excellent. Apart from Salah, he's our best forward in my opinion. I think Cody Gakpo is Liverpool's number 9 next season as well. I think he starts Liverpool's number 9.
100%.
I think he's
don't
been better than Bobby, so I think you've got to put him on that test, surely.
Yeah. Cody, what is it? 7 goals since January, playing in a different position.
But are we watching these performances, or are we just basing this on his goal? I don't get it.
Performance, I'm
Because
watching.
Bobby, for me, if you looked at Bobby's performances plus the games that he's scoring goals in, I'm looking at Bobby saying, Bobby has been on fire. Like in terms of the amount of games, obviously he's played. Of course, he's been injured, so it's a smaller sample size. But then I'm looking at Gakpo and I'm thinking, I've watched games this season. If let's just say from when he started scoring, I was like, yeah, your performances are really not that good. Like the game, even when he scored in that game against West Ham, I didn't think he was that good until he scored. And then after that, I didn't even see him for the rest of the game. But he got a goal. So it's like his stats look good, but his performance wasn't really of a level where you're like, oh yeah, that was a good performance. He scored a goal and that was it. He kind of just like went off the boil a little bit.
Well, what do we want from our number 9 though? G, what do we want from our number 9? Do we want goals?
No. It's not about when we're talking about rating the player, I have to then look at the whole package as a whole. So if in those games when he's not performing and then not scoring, I'm then looking at thinking, okay, so when in those games where you are actually scoring goals, what is the whole package actually looking like? Because then I can praise you for scoring the goal, which I will do 100%. I want you to score like 100 goals if you possibly can. But if you ask me about how was his actual overall performance, I'm like, well, his performance was actually kind of meaty, but he scored. So we can praise him for the scoring the goal, but that was it.
My 3 best players this season are Alisson, Salah, and Gakpo. They're my 3 best players this season. They're my 3 best players this season.
I think the thing is as well, when I'm looking at forward, I said the same about Luis Diaz in the last season. Gakpo's the same thing. He came in mid-season and he just didn't look out of place. I know last season with Diaz it was a bit crazy because we had to change a couple of things because of the way he plays on the wing. But this season I feel like we can carry on doing what we've been doing with Bobby because Gakpo is going to be a similar sort of player, I think anyway. And I've just been so impressed with how quickly he's adapted.
That is
a
brilliant.
team that's not functioning as well, by the way.
Yeah. I just think we're judging him too early. Like let him bed in it. It's only been a few months. The consistency will come eventually. 100%.
This one's going to be interesting. Robbo. I know this one's it's going to be interesting.
Say good, women good.
Right, how many? Right, K-Max says dog shit. Ben, what do you say?
Dog shit.
Dog shit, man.
G?
Yeah, dog shit.
Jerry?
Dog shit, man.
N?
I heard the vim in that. You know the vim in it.
This is so depressing, isn't it?
I said
You didn't want to say that, Jay.
Right. All right, so Robbo's dog shit. Right, let's get this interesting ones. Nah, this one's going to be interesting. Thiago.
Dog shit.
I ain't seen that guy for time.
Dog shit.
Adrian
Now-
for me, man.
Or Adrian. You can have a case for Adrian as well. What's he done?
Do you put injuries on the fault of Thiago or the club?
don't think he's played.
Well, he was injury prone when we signed him. Like, what do you expect?
He's just been poor. What's he offered us this season?
Yeah, I haven't it. I've already said I'd let Thiago go this summer. So
I would as well.
Guys, you need to look at what he's done in his past as well. He ain't that guy. Like he looks great. It's another eye thing, eye and data. He looks great on the eye, but he doesn't do that much. Seriously, he passes it all the time to the right person. So he got like high passage percentage. He doesn't score and he doesn't create. Like, what's the guy there for?
I'm just saying, I'm on the panel. I don't agree.
Ends this week.
Yeah, I don't agree that he doesn't know anything.
He likes the eye test.
When we signed Thiago, I think we were probably going to shift a bit into something else, and for whatever reason, it didn't quite work.
It did work.
Yeah, so now we're left with a player who would be absolutely perfect for a team like Man City, but not really what we want to do. Kind of thing.
I agree. Right, this one's going to cause some havoc because we've had some Twitter back and forths. Mo Salah.
Alisson.
He goes in his namesake.
Yeah.
Quite
Alisson.
Salah. Ooh. Right, I'm going.
Quite sad for me.
I want to hear G on that.
Not
Right.
right. Alisson for me.
I think the top of not quite Alisson.
So like in between the sort of
No,
like.
he's been the second best.
He's been my second best player of the year as well.
Yeah.
What is it we think about Salah? Because I've gone back and forth with G a few times on this as well. Stats wise, he's a stat padder, and I've been saying it for a while. For me, Salah's game is about stats. I'm used to it now. I get irritated by Mo. He's the most frustrating footballer I've ever seen in my life because he will frustrate me for 88 minutes and then he'll either come with a clutch goal or a clutch assist, and it's like it's hard to advocate you now. You know what I mean? It's that kind of player. What has he got? 40 GA this season, and it's not even a good season for him. It's mad. Now we go look at wingers. Yeah, Jack Grealish probably in a way has had a better season than Mo Salah. Yeah, as a winger, right? But they do different jobs because they're different kind of wingers. You know, Salah is a goal scoring or assist making winger. That's what he does. That's what he's always done. Look at him at Roma. Look at him at was it Fiorentina? Look at him at Liverpool in his career. That is what he is. He's a stats winger, goal scoring winger. And we just got to get used to Mo maybe having quiet games, but then still getting 30 goals a season. Are we happy with that? What talk to you guys?
Can I say something about Mo? Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Okay,
go for it.
I mean, he's a stat monster. I totally agree with that. 1,100 passes this season, 900 went to people. Okay, so he is a passer that passes the ball to other players. There is a crazy stat that if you pass the ball to Mo 50 times in a game, we win. We win. And that's since he's been at the club. And that stat is real. The guy is an absolute machine. You give the ball to Mo and you win a game. That's it. It's that simple.
Yeah, I agree.
If Man United had Mo Salah, they'd win the league. Because that's what they do with Rashford. They just pass the ball to Rashford. We don't pass the ball enough to Mo. We don't use Mo like we should use Mo. And unfortunately, that's not his fault. That's the way we play. And we just don't give it to him enough. You know, all of the goals that Firmino and Mane scored were because of Mo. Mo does so much. He scores, he assists. Like, we are nothing without him. Seriously, this season we'd have been in the bottom 5 if it wasn't for Mo. Honestly, I can't say nothing else. Mo's the king.
Fair enough. Before I get anyone else ever say, Ben, I know you got to leave, my man. You there, Ben?
Yeah. Sorry. No,
Yeah.
I
Baz
can
has got to leave. Sorry.
Yeah.
Baz has got to leave. Sorry, Baz. I'll see you there. Thanks very much for joining, Baz. Are you there still? Let me see.
No, I think he's gone.
No, he's
bro.
gone.
It's gone, man.
Big up to Baz. Yeah, big up to Baz. I just saw a B in the name and I was like, oh, is that Ben or Baz? Yeah, guys, anyone want rebut all that or agree with it? Go for it.
Yeah, Mike, I agree with you on this one point. I haven't agreed with you on most points. I agree with you on that one. It's the same way with the Alisson thing. Where would we be without Alisson this season? You can use the same. And look, I know probably over the course of the season, his performances overall hasn't been great, but his goals have helped us win games, if not pulled us back into games to get points. But I know we've all been frustrated with his overall performance this season. But he's as important as Alisson this season to me, because without him creating or scoring these goals, where would we be? Same as Alisson. If Alisson wasn't trying to keep all these clean sheets, like if he took those two out the team this season, it's scary to think where we might be. Just based off of the numbers, and obviously Alisson's better off in terms of his overall performance. So obviously Alisson's obviously going to be the player of the season. But bro, you take Mo's goals and assists away, bro, it is mad.
No, I agree with it, man.
Goals and assists in a bad season.
I think, and someone just put up a comment just there about Grealish or whatever, and I was like, see, this is the problem. You're too busy looking at the stats of Grealish. Like, I don't expect Grealish to score goals like that.
That's what he's at City for. That's not what he's at City for.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like if you obviously, I'm not comparing the two because they play two different positions anyway. But that's just for that comment in itself. But no, man, what Em said is true, man. Overall performance has not been good in my personal opinion. No. It's like I said to you on Twitter, Jamie. Couple years, well, the beginning of last season. So not this season, obviously that's just finished. Last season when we were going for the quad. Beginning of that season, there was Ballon d'Or shouts for Mo Salah. Why? Because his performance level was matching the statistics that we were seeing. Ever since then, it's just been about the statistics. Now, I'm not that, for me, I don't care. I just want you to score goals anyway. But when we start talking about players and you start trying to evaluate players, you have to almost look at the overall package, because then you start to have to single it out, i.e., I'm not saying he's of this type of stature. Ronaldo's performances left time ago, but guess what? This guy is such a lethal goal scorer. You're gonna keep him in the team. Same with Mo Salah, lethal, as En said, without his goals and his assists, and that's why I'm like, it's always so hard with me and Salah, because I love the guy, because I love the fact that you're all about your goals. I don't care more time if you're performing 1 out of 10, but then you get the goal at the end, kind of thing. As En said, if that's going to be the deciding factor, it doesn't really matter. But then when I look at it, when we're trying to evaluate a player, you do then look at the overall package. Hence why you will then pick, let's just say you're speaking about Grealish. That's why people will say Grealish has had a better season, because his performances are matching whatever statistics you want to use to put up against that. Whereas with Mo, his performances are really not that good, but his statistics are still world class. Like, that's just Mo. Mo's gonna eat regardless. Liverpool will lose 3-2. Mo will score 2 goals. He eats regardless. Like, it doesn't really matter with Mo. That's why I'm probably more harsh with him. But yeah, this season he's been.
There's a guy in the chat, Jay Kismet, who's hit the nail right on the head. You're taking away Bobby and Mane from Salah, and he's still producing. I mean, you know, on the left hand side,
big up all the Mane fans.
You're taking away Mane.
Where's all the Mane fans today, boy? Like, I don't hear about them anymore.
You know, you're taking away players on the left hand side, and Virgil van Dijk's performances have reduced. It's the whole transitioning with the
well-oiled machine, as they say. Yeah, you need the whole team to become as one. Yeah.
Mo is a consistent.
But he doesn't need that though. Mo doesn't need
He'll still score the goals, but there's other people doing their jobs.
Mo doesn't need anybody to be good for him to be like to do what he does. That's what I've always said about him.
It's just the other players. Yeah.
Playing linesman for 6 months.
Do you know the craziest thing? Imagine if we actually get someone that could create and take that pressure off Mo and just get him into those areas to score goals.
No. Imagine if you just had someone who could score goals other than Mo Salah. Imagine what the pressure that comes off Mo now, where we don't even care that his performances haven't even been good for like 3 or 4 games in a row, because you've got someone else in the team who's getting goals. I don't have to get the same amount as Mo, but just someone else in the team who can get goals, or we're sharing the goals a bit more. At the moment, we've got, I think you said Nunes. I think Nunes is the next
15 goals,
15. How many has Mo Salah got?
19 goals in the Premier League, as far as I'm aware. But over 30, is it 30 goals already this season?
He's got
goals and assists. I think it's like 40 something. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like some of the gap is just a little bit too big for my liking when it does come to these kind of players.
Right, let's finish off with the last 3 players. I'll put the rest in Adrian because they've not really played. Luis Diaz. How do we rate Luis Diaz? This is a hard one because he has been injured for a lot of the season, and I don't want to put him like.
Just put him in good. I think at the start of the season, his performances was there. Scored a couple of goals, got a few assists. He had a great game against Arsenal. Before obviously, man nearly broke his whole leg, but yeah, man, he hasn't played enough games, bro, to really have a good sample size.
It's hard to rate. It's hard to rate.
Of course.
This season as well. He was starting so well, like you could see it.
Curtis Jones.
Good.
You have to put him in good. If you're putting Diaz there, you got to put good.
Yeah, I think sample size. Yeah.
Harvey Elliott. This should be interesting.
He just needs to be playing on his rightful position, man. Not rated.
Right. Before Christmas, would you have put Harvey Elliott in, not quite Salah?
No.
Because he was arguably our best player before Christmas.
Best player doing nothing. But yeah.
he played most of the game. He played most of the games. I thought he was pretty good before Christmas.
Do you see the thing is though, Jamie? When I watch these guys, look,
right.
You can look energetic, you can run around the pitch, you can look like you're doing something, but realistically, you're not doing anything. Because you're a midfielder, you're not scoring a goal, you're not creating chances, you're not getting any assists. It's all well and good doing the defensive job and run around making tackles or running around looking energetic, but if you're not actually producing anything, bro.
Yeah.
For me,
right. He only played 1 game, and I'm going to put Kelleher and Adrian. And the reason I'm going to put him in Adrian is because if Adrian made them mistakes he made against Southampton, Twitter would have gone mad. So that's why I'm putting him in there. Simple as that. And he only played that 1 game all season, to be fair to him. So there it is, guys. There's our ratings for the players this season. My 3 best players were Alisson, Gakpo and Salah this season. Guys, thank you very much for joining us.
Whoa.
Klopp. I haven't got a picture of him. Right, so
Jamie's trying to make us blame FSG now.
I haven't got a picture for Jurgen. So where would you put Jurgen, guys? Where would you put him? Go on. Where would Jurgen go?
Dog shit, man. 100%.
Wherever that was,
I'm gonna be nice, but I think I'm gonna put him in good. I think he's been a balance on both ends, bro. He's had some good games where tactically he was there, against Man United, against Man City, and then there's games against like Nottingham where he was shit.
And come on,
And
bro.
based on this season,
No way. It's the season I'm looking at, bro.
It's political.
What do you want me to do, man? He finished 5th, bro. What do you want me to do, man?
Be honest.
We didn't cancel your channel,
bro.
He finished 5th. I can't listen. That's why I'm putting him halfway up the table, bro. He finished 5th, innit? Just put him in.
What? Nah. Take it back down.
Take it back, man.
you'll be happy with your
down.
He gave me some good moments, bro. I saw my team win 7-0 a couple of times. I saw my team win 9. I saw us win by 6. I see us beat Man City when no one else could.
To me, you know what it is?
That all sounds cute, but nah, man, you can't. That's what I'm saying. Every now and again, I can buy Gucci on my birthday, but all the year round I'm broke. Nah, I'm not trying to hear any of it.
The whole panel
That
gets
guy
to
gonna go
vote.
down.
G, the whole panel gets the vote. My fault
You
won't matter
ends,
at all.
you know what? You ends, you're 100% right.
It won't matter at all, bro. You know, you guys are gonna put him in dog shit.
I'm just not trying to hear your reasoning. I'm just not trying to hear that reason.
Bro, I wasn't trying to give one. I just said it. A man told me to give a reason.
It's got to improve, yeah.
Have a go. Jamie.
Yeah,
Have
man.
you put down the real manager this season, Pep Linders?
Pep Linders, my man.
You put
Pep.
down the real manager this season because Klopp ain't been managing Liverpool this season.
My man Pep. Look at that beautiful man right there.
Yeah, get that guy in the bin. Dog shit.
Next season he'll be looking after the Europa League games, bro. So get used to it.
Yeah.
You do know volume 2 of the book's coming out, don't you?
Oh God.
I'm not to break Liverpool down.
And you don't like that.
The opposite. Mind games.
Mind games. You guys didn't know we had a new system coming in. We just tricked you.
Pep Linders, Mind Games. That's the name of the book.
You know, it wouldn't even surprise you.
God. Right, guys, big up for everyone joining me today. I do really, really, really appreciate it. It's been a long one. Right, let's go down to everyone's got channels here. Oh, let's put Fozzie back in. Fozzie, thank you very much for coming on, my man. I do appreciate it. Let everyone know where they can find you, mate.
My channel is called LFC Red Forever. Please go and subscribe to that one. Yeah, thanks for having me, Jamie. The panel, it's been great, honestly. Thank you for all the stuff we've done today. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate. My man Ben, thank you for coming on, man. Let everyone know where they can find you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, bro, for the invite. My Twitter's on the screen and on YouTube. At the minute, to be fair, I'm just concentrating on the Anfield Talk podcast, so I'm sure a lot of the guys in the comments will follow us on Twitter. Please go and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're trying to get to 1,000 subs. I think we're on 800 and something at the minute. And next season, we're doing preview shows with guests from other Premier League clubs as well. So, yeah, that would be very much appreciated.
Awesome, guys. Go and subscribe. My man, N, thank you very much, my man.
No, I appreciate the invite, man. Great panel tonight, by the way. Yeah, man, that's my handle. It's at Ensman TV. You want to go over there, guys, and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000. I think we're on 710 now. So it's been a great first season, man, on this YouTube game, grind, whatever you want to call it. I met some interesting people along the way, man. So appreciate the invite, G, and the rest. And Jay, I love chopping off with you guys, especially, man, because I know your views are different to mine. So it's love still.
Jerry, been a while. Glad you came on the show, my man.
Yeah, man,
where can everyone find you, man?
Wow, yeah, big up to everyone that tuned in. Yeah, catch me on the Dre James show. On it to 2K subs, so please make sure to subscribe. We've got a lot of different content coming now in the summer as well. Going to be a lot of changes as well. So yeah, look forward to obviously doing that as well. So thanks, obviously, for having me on, man.
No worries. And my man G, big up, my man.
Tonight was good, man. I love chopping up with everybody, the different views. You know, I'm just trying to argue, so guys never take it too personal. We got everyone in the chat as well, and please make sure you smash that like, subscribe. Handles there, G Keeping It G on Twitter, GTV on YouTube. Yeah, man, the old Jerry James show, you'll always find me on there every single time, and on Ensman TV as well. So yeah, man, pick up everyone on the show.
And K-Mac, thank you very much for coming in, my man. I do appreciate it. Let everyone know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, big up, Jamie. Great show. Absolute banter that as well. And some really good discussions. Before I go, though, everybody subscribe to everyone that's in this panel. All of their handles are there. You can check me out on YouTube, K-Mac channel. I'm also on Instagram as well because I'm a music producer. So if you like house music, you can check out my music as well, DJ K-Mac on Instagram. And thanks for having me on, and big up the Reds.
There we go, guys. There we go. Right, let's get back to... There we go. Right. Oh, there we go. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. We do appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow with maybe some of this Kone and Turam talk that's going on the internet right now. It's going mad. So probably be back for some of that sometime tomorrow or Thursday. But make sure you subscribe to everyone in the chat here. Make sure you subscribe to myself if you've not already. Road to 4K. So, guys, big up to everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.